Wonder if all my bad decisions get accounted in the algorithms. No statistician could dissuade me from my bigger vision. I know my occupation's quite an unlikely place in this world to occupy and talk about upon a daily basis. Our information's predetermined by some biased business. We all in sermon to Silicon that push out lovely neighbors. I'm done with paper chasing, think I'm on to bigger banquets. This that full circle, new wave, energy on a Tuesday. Turn a blue day to a bright hue, yellow with a smooth A in hair. Extra fruit, the brand. You can't move me. The music is man. It's a con job, but it's grand. Been blessed with a great hand amongst many that stank. And yeah, it took some hard work, but blind luck play a huge role. And if they say that it don't, then they feeding you fool's gold. And if I know one thing, the truth's home. Even if it's a tough thing to swallow, an even harder thing to hold and truly know without a doubt while on the globe. Even though that seems inherent, it ain't always so apparent. Dangle carrot, you ain't always gonna get it. But don't worry, it's a pretty February in a year with more to carry, and more days is yet to come. Under the sun, taking the ferry to the city, where the moment's extra pretty, like the people, like the idea that I keep inside my brain that isn't equal to the real world. All that stress ain't saving me, fear though. I swear to God I'm trying. They pushing the demons down my esophagus, screaming the easy life, what I want always. Praise made up holidays, tell me that love is the answer just to boost this economy. Buy more sell now, but I ain't following. I ain't a hollow man, I'm full of them fall winds. Take it all with a tall grin, and if you feel it, do it with me, and just sing what the song says. Take it all for what it is. It ain't all so bad. So big. Take it all for what it is. It ain't all so bad.
Hello, everyone. It's me, Security Boss.
Dearly beloved.
And this is Unsolicited. Thank you so much for being here. And it is another outstanding Monday. But this particular Monday is the 4th of July. It's Independence Day. So I hope that we all are recognizing this beautiful day. It's been an excellent day in my city. And I hope it has been. Well, I already know it hasn't been, but we're going to talk about that. But before we get started, we're going to bring up my co-host, Black Man Unfiltered.
What it is.
It is what it is. How you doing today?
What's going on, Sugarfoot? You know, it is so good to be in the presence of great people. That's my word for today. It's so good to be in. And Mr. Boss, how you doing back there, dearly beloved?
He doing his thing. Oh, and my other co-host, just in case you all are new to the channel, my other co-host is my husband, Mr. Boss. He is the one with all the sound effects and the moderator. He's like everything. So he's there. If the camera's on, he's on. If the camera's not on, you won't be seeing me. So he's there, and shout out to him. So listen, I hope you have been having a good weekend and an outstanding 4th.
Yeah, you know, I hate to be there.
Now you ain't got to be it now. You can let me do it, but
I hate to. Normally, I'd say this. A lot of people don't like when I say it. I really don't celebrate the 4th like that. It's a beautiful day. It's a good day to be off. But I just think about all the. I just think about a lot of stuff that didn't. When the Declaration of Independence was signed and written. It didn't have a lot to do with our culture of people. It had a lot to do with, people fighting amongst each other that didn't, that we were the help, basically. So yeah, I don't really acknowledge it like that because of that reason. I know what it stands for. But yeah, that's about it. When it comes to the 4th. But I got some other stuff that I wanted to throw out there. If you're ready.
Well, I'm about to be ready, but I want to tell you this. You don't even have to, because you believe in a bigger Father and a greater source. So you know what? Whether they want to celebrate life today or any other day, you already got the answer. So that's what I do.
Yes, indeed.
That's what I did. But listen, we're gonna do some news around the world. So you
Mhm.
this is off. This has been a terrible day somewhat. But I want you to go ahead and get started.
Well, I've been struggling. I've been struggling with the whole Roe v. Wade thing for a week. I've been struggling with the R. Kelly sentence for 30 years. I've been struggling with um, the women that are attacking each other because of Roe v. Wade. Um, it's just it's really really bad. And then on top of that, today we're dealing with um, another shooting.
One.
Another shooting. Um, I just don't. I don't know. I just don't get it. I just don't understand what's going on right now. This world is in a really bad place, and I think we've lost our way. And when things are out of order, this is the result of seeing things out of order. Um, and when it comes to, and I do a breakdown of it. When it comes to the Roe v. Wade, the Roe part of it is the female that is surrounded by the lady that really brought the light. Roe v. Wade, that wanted to have a deletion of her child, but a lot of women are fighting right now about Roe v. Wade. But the Caucasian lady that started this, she never had a deletion. She had 3 children. She gave 2 away up for adoption, and she gave 1 to her mother. And they put her name on it. And this lady told the truth. She said, I was a great actor. I acted it out. They paid me well. They put me on tour to go around and promote something that I never did. And so I said this to one of my relatives last night. She's mad at me. She'd be okay. I'm gonna hug her. I'm gonna try to go hug her later. But I said, she was in upper. She said, I'm so glad they got R. Kelly. They should throw him under the prison for even looking at little girls. I said, and I said, what are your ideas about Roe v. Wade? And she said, well, I'm glad they passed that law too. I said, what a huge contradiction. And she said, what's the contradiction? I said, you're okay with R. Kelly touching little girls, but you're not okay with women deleting little girls. But, but that's where I'm at. Go ahead.
Let me break in here for a moment. Like I said on another panel where I was this past weekend, things are not real until they come home, until it's time for us to make those decisions. We can talk about what goes on in other people's lives all day, every day, give a strong opinion,
Yep.
Be a matter of fact, give stats and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Until it comes right to our front door, it ain't even real to me.
Exactly.
So when people, let me just say this, no matter what you do, no matter what you've done, no matter what decision you had to make to murder any innocent individual, any. And let me put the word innocent. I'm not talking about somebody that you're fearing your life from. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about any innocent individual is wrong. It's murder, y'all. It's wrong. Yep. Whether you did it, you didn't do it, you might have to do it, whatever, it is wrong.
Dearly beloved,
understand that. If you find yourself having to make that decision and you do it, it's still wrong.
Right.
It's still wrong.
Yeah. And shout out to I Am Courtney. She did it was tough to watch.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard about that. The baby's movie. I did hear about that. That's awful. It's wrong. Whatever you do, innocent life, it's wrong. Okay. Listen, whether you choose to do it or not, it doesn't really matter. You're still making a mistake. You're still doing a wrong thing. You will have to repent and have consequences for those wrong things. I'm just sorry that is the way it is.
Right.
If we can educate, and that's going to bring us to where we are today. But before we get on the show today, we're going to actually say hello to a few people, but we're talking around the world right now. But that brings me to what we're going to talk about today. Education. If we could see, for me, this is kind of like a do-over. I know you probably don't see it that way, but if we can start over, we can then go back and educate the youth, the younger generation, and say, this is what sex is for. This is why we use sex. This is what can happen if you have sex. All these things. And even the video you saw. And we could maybe educate them to making good decisions and pick good individuals to actually procreate with. And this we could possibly turn around. I don't know why we're fighting in between.
Nope.
I really don't. I don't.
And that's one of the things that's bothering me. man, it's just so sickening to hear the things that we're willing to go through to do that deletion, to actually take a life. Because again, I was listening to one of the doctors, and the doctor said that he's not a doctor that deletes children, but he's an educator to women not to do it. And he said the one that's up into the 24 and almost 30 weeks, almost up to term. He said they shoot a needle through the stomach into the, but the lady has to walk around with the deleted baby in her stomach for 3 days for her cervix to open. So she's walking around with a deceased baby in her body for 3 days, which the doctor said can cause major infection, major poisoning of the system, because the baby is going into rigor mortis.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. There are some things I do know about having a baby. And if you're 34 weeks, that's almost a full term. Full term is 40 weeks. Why couldn't they just induce labor and force the young lady or whomever into, not that I'm trying, I mean, but that doesn't make sense. Why would you have to walk around with, okay, look. That's too much for me right now.
I watched the whole video. It was hard.
You have to walk around with a
deceased baby in your body for 3 days until your cervix opens. Once your cervix opens, they go in, because the medicine that they stick into the head of the child seizes the child, stops all the organs. They go in, the baby's limbo, and the baby starts to go into rigor mortis, which is the body's breaking down. They go in with a vacuum cleaner. They said that can pull like a seat up out of a car, and they put it in there and they vacuum everything out piece by piece. And what they can't get, they go in and grab, and then they have the lady come back in 72 hours to see if any pieces of the child is left, and they get that out. How could you? I don't. It's almost evil to me to want to do that. It's almost evil to me that you know that you're about to delete your child and you're going to walk around with that child inside of you dead for 3 days.
Yeah, that's a lot. I didn't even know that happened. That doesn't seem like something. Seem like to me that would be putting the mother in some sort of
danger,
harm. Yeah.
Yes.
That's a lot. Okay. Well, we're not going, unless you can continue to talk. I mean, if it's something that you keep going, I don't understand a lot of things, but I think with some education, we can definitely turn this situation around. But to go back to the initial thing that you said, we have a huge sin problem. We are getting more and more disconnected from the Creator, and we can't even see we can't even see our way around what we're doing, because for even a doctor or even for that to be recommended, I don't even see why someone would recommend that unless that is something that is already harmful for the mother to actually give birth to the child. Because at 34, you could just have the child 6 more weeks, give it up for adoption. I can't see why that wouldn't be an option at that point. So that is different. I've never ever heard of that. I must say I have not.
And that's why, and Eugene is in the chat right now talking about it. I Am Courtney went down every
34 weeks.
Yeah, I Am Courtney went down. She had a video for every trimester of when a woman goes in, and that one I just told you about, she played a video of how they do it. It was I couldn't hardly watch it. I couldn't.
Wow.
It's hard.
Yeah, we need to start educating. We definitely do. Now listen, you mentioned Mr. R. Kelly, Robert Kelly, the 30 years.
Yeah.
Do you think he'll actually be sentenced? Well, he's already been sentenced. Do you think they are now appealing it, correct?
Correct.
Do you think that he'll win in any appeal for those things?
Well, it all depends on this secret person that's gonna, because they didn't strip them of all money. So it depends on this secret person that's trying to that don't want to be known, that's trying to get Bill Cosby's lawyers involved. Now watch this. I heard a lot of people say, I'm just listening to the news, listening to different sources, say that he may go through the same situation as Bill Cosby and come up with a technicality.
Wow.
And if that technicality happens, then he's back on the streets.
Wow.
And
Technicality.
he can't be tried again.
Technicality. Wow.
That's what happened to Bill. When they had Bill locked up, they found a technicality, something that the DA didn't do right. And bam, Bill's at home.
Right.
And they can't try him again for the same thing.
Woo, before we go on, let's We're going to take a break in just a second, though, and say hello to a few people because we haven't done that yet. But Christopher Lee, how are you doing today? He says, first of all, thank you so much for your $5 super chat. And he says, this is one of the very few channels that has so many meaningful conversations like these. Support the content, ladies and gents. Thank you, Mr. Lee. Thank you so very much for that. We got one more. Well, we're going to wait and see what happens to Robert Kelly. He did those things. I do realize, and these are my thoughts, y'all can beat me up for him. A lot of people were trying to manipulate and get some things from him, and they sold out the kids. That's what they did. It was very wrong of them doing it. There was a lot of people out there gathering young folks, bringing them to him also. They sold them out too. That was a wrong thing also. I actually think that they should be held to some sort of a standard also, because I don't know for sure. Although I heard one time Mr. Kelly was hanging out at a McDonald's, but I really think that some people went out and got these kids and brought them to him, which is a wrong thing, but he should have known better because he was the target. But again, there's some mental or some dysfunction there that was never dealt with. And this is what you get when you have that.
Right, exactly. And you have to keep in mind that Mr. Kelly, well known that his sister and his sister and his, I think his aunt or his uncle or somebody, they did grape him when he was a kid.
So it was actually the sister. I thought it was a grown man also. Wouldn't it?
Right. I think it was an uncle at one time messing with him, and then I think the sister was having sex with him as well. So
it's just like the fella. It's just like Monique. We can't excuse. We see and understand what's happening, but when you become an adult, you have to check your trauma. You can't be a villain now making other victims. That's not how you do it.
And that's why Ayanla was saying. Ayanla, they asked her about R. Kelly, and she said before they arrested him, she was going to have him on her show, which would have been wonderful to see that episode with her and R. Kelly. But she came and said, she said, I know what I'm going to say is not going to be what everybody wants to hear. Y'all can beat me up. She said, but I've been dealing with trauma and I've been dealing with people forever. And she said, the age that your trauma happens is where you stay mentally until you get the help you need. And she said, in the Black community, we don't get the help. We're embarrassed to get the help. We know people are going to talk about us and treat us bad if we get, they find out that we're in therapy. And she said, R. Kelly, when he was 13 years old, 14 years old, she said, just look at it. If he's seeking 14, 15-year-old girls and he got raped at 14 and 15, she said that's where he is mentally.
That's where he stopped growing. Yeah, that was this. I've heard that happens. It stunts your growth at that point in time. But you know what, though? You know what? You're right. I'm sure that he's got a lot of dysfunction he had to live with, and he had so many yes men around him. Nobody was there to hold him accountable or tell him the truth. Matter of fact, they was just setting it up for a paycheck. Yep. And now he's gone. But listen, we're going to say hello to him. Oh, no, go ahead.
No, one more thing. So, you know what gets me, though? Because when you said that right now, that just triggered a whole nother thing with me, because people are talking about R. Kelly and saying R. Kelly was this and he's this and he's that and he's this. Okay. But
what are those things? Let's elaborate. I want to know what they're saying.
R. Kelly is a molester. R. Kelly is messing with little girls. R. Kelly is doing this with little girls and younger women and 14, 15-year-old girls. But then one of the girls that they say he supposedly messed with was one of the children or the niece of one of the girls that was signed to him, and they would be on the road. They say he was messing with the girl.
Yeah.
Now, me as an uncle, if I'm an uncle and I know this man, now let me put it in the perspective here. The girl that they say he messed with, her uncle plays bass guitar for R. Kelly's band.
Right.
The aunt sings background.
Right.
See? But
wait a minute. If you go back, if you can recall, you're exactly right about everything you're saying. And if you can recall, I don't know when it was, but that first trial that R. Kelly went through, where they have the videotape of him urinating on a young person or on a woman, it was that young lady. And what happened is her family accepted money to make it all go away. So that's how he got off on that first allegation, I guess, at this point, because they found him not guilty or they threw it out. Or I don't know exactly what happened. He didn't have to.
Yeah, the FBI said that the man this what got me too. Now I was like, man, can R. Kelly have enough power back then to pay off the FBI? Because back then they said that the FBI did face recognition on R. Kelly in that trial, and that's how he got off. They said the face recognition does not match his.
Well, they were saying it was his brother. His brother said that they was putting it on him.
Yep, exactly.
But again, this is what I want to tell you. The auntie did not know it, but when she found out who it was, there was a big falling out. It wasn't an easy thing, but they accepted money. They accepted money for this to go away, and that's what we do. Now, listen, I don't know if the young lady has had some kind of counseling or what have you, but just think about it. You have a grown man urinating on you, and it's on a videotape. Now, whether anybody else knows it's you or not, you know it's you.
Right.
You got to grow up and be a grown mother or wife, and you have to endure that.
Yep, and a lot of other
And your parents accepted money. How much money could we actually accept in order to hold you together for the rest of your life? Come on.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying that him going to prison would have justified it either, but he was wrong.
Yep, and a lot of artists are coming out talking about it, like Life Jennings. Life Jennings said, I don't really care for R. Kelly. He said, but I'm not going to sit up here and cap. He said, I've been on the road with R. Kelly several years on tour. And he said, I've seen these grown women dress their daughters up like they're 20 and push their daughters in his room, push them in his dressing room. Go get that money. Go get that money. And then when he they go in there, have sex with him or do something for him in there, or let him hit it or whatever. Now take that makeup off, look like you 13, and let's go tell the police.
No, I don't think it's that right away. It's just when you don't get that record deal. If we got that record deal,
exactly, then
we're going to be down with it, because that's how those two young ladies ended up loving him and brainwashed all these many years and didn't want to be with their parents. And I mean, it's a very sad, because you know what? Them girls twisted right now. You know that?
Yeah. And the last thing I'm going to say about his wife, I can't even believe anything come out of her mouth. Because let me tell you what happened. She went in and said, he hog-tied me and wouldn't let me. I defecated on myself. I peed on myself. He wouldn't let me eat. He starved me to death. And she did that interview. Right after that interview, she went. That's the internet is undefeated. Right after that interview, she went live in her car. Our car picked her up. She went live in the car. Said, I just did an interview, blah, blah, blah. Guess what song was playing in the background? Her ex-husband's song, R. Kelly's song, Happy People. And guess who was singing it? She was on live. Happy People.
Was it her?
Yeah, I know that's my ex-husband. I know he wasn't nothing, but baby, my ex-husband can sing, honey. Wait a minute. If you're traumatized by this man and beat you and hog-tied you, why are you riding around the city with your new man in the car listening to your ex-husband that you say hog-tied you? I'm confused.
You know what? Y'all listen. Y'all, I love you all, but we are a culture that is really twisted up.
Yeah.
We can normalize some stuff and sweep some stuff under the rug. We glorify the drug dealer because he go buy turkeys on Thanksgiving. We just do some real crazy stuff. And it's like, man, you know what? I heard somebody say today that, I don't know if they were just generalizing or if it's true, but they say individuals in the projects, they be stealing. They like to steal from the rich and bring it back. And they justify that. Since when has that been okay?
Yeah, I think that's a Robin Hood.
What is it that you can tell me that's going to make it okay? So, because if you don't have it, maybe you weren't supposed to have it. How about that?
Yep.
If you're not able to go out for whatever reason, if you're not able to go out and purchase a pair of Jordans or whatever, you may not be the individual that are supposed to have them. So if you see somebody with them who obviously purchased them, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. They purchased them, or even they're in the store for other people to purchase. If by stealing those to bring them back to the people that were not able to purchase them. Everybody don't get everything. This is not an equal or fair US of A or world, period. I can't have everything.
Well, you know what, security boss? How
do we justify this stuff to say, oh, because I'm in the projects and I don't have a lot, I'm gonna steal from the rich and bring it back to the poor? Come on, what?
Yeah, I'm here in Dallas, and we have a place called Big T. Anybody that knows Big T that lives in Dallas, it's a place called Big T. You can go in there. Police don't be over there. Police and the feds then raided it a couple of times, but normally they don't go over there and mess with them. However, All the stuff in there, 90% of the things that they're selling in there are stolen. You can go in and get you a brand new pair of Jordans, half of what you would pay for it in the store. And they just run it every day. Right, like it's nothing. And no, they ain't worried about the police. I think they got something the police in their pocket, but they're not worried about the police. They sell stolen rims, stolen tires, clothes, shoes. They go and rob the trains and fill up their store and sell it every day and making nothing but profit.
Then listen, I may be a little sheltered. I may not know everything, but I don't have a real gray area, y'all. I do love, and I have a connection to the Father. But for me, right is right and wrong is wrong, and there's good and there's evil. And,
right.
We've fallen in one of those spaces. And I think if you steal from me, you know what space and what side you're going to be on. So I'm not, because some people really understand this. Some people understand it. They justify it, and they be like, I heard a lady girl one day say, well, how else is he going to buy his school clothes? Whatever happened to working at the McDonald's or at the Hardee's or mowing people's grass if you want to be an entrepreneur? Are you telling me the only way that I can get school clothes is to steal something from someone else who worked for it? See, we twist it. Like M. Mills just said, we are a traumatized culture. And one day we're going to talk about why we so traumatized and why it ain't all of us. Why all of us ain't living in this trauma. I like to know.
I know some females that I know I'm in corporate. So I don't even know why these people like that. They make good money, but I know females that came to me and said, hey, listen, your kids need school clothes and shoes, right? I say, yeah, why? I said, why? She said, oh man, she said, listen, this girl got a binder. She said, listen, these are kind of shoes that we offering. These are kind of clothes. What size pants your son wear? I said, no. I said,
no way. No, get Satan, get away from me. Lord Jesus, run.
When I tell you she making hundreds of dollars, maybe even thousands up there selling to the white people, the black people, the Hispanic people, the managers, the people that's making 6 figures a year, selling it to them, and they buying it trunks full of video games, PlayStations, you name it. This girl can get it. And I'm like, who do you know?
I'm scared. I'm scared of all of that.
You know that you can have a $500, $600 gaming system, and you got 20 of them in the trunk of your car.
Well, why am I supposed to have everything? Why do I get to have everything?
Wow.
So let's say hello to some people. And there's one more thing we're going to talk about out here in this crazy world. But let's say hello to a few people. I see some new people over here in the comment section. Thank you guys for being here. Lou, it's good to see Lou. It's good to see you. Thank you for being with us the other night. Dorian, thank you so much for your comments. Mel is always welcome. L. Nixon, the voice of reason. Thank you for being here. I think this is your first time we've seen you. We on lock. Hello, how are you, T. Shaw? You the thumbs up. Mr. Steele, Dr. Steele, good to see you. OG Patrice, how you doing? How are you? Let's see. Let's keep going up here. I've seen some more. I think Myron, thank you so much for joining us from Facebook. But Myron, I think you and I have had some interactions before. It's good to see you, though. I'm glad you're here. I heard you mentioning your daughter. I think the last time, if I have the right person, last time we spoke, your fiance was actually pregnant with that baby. I think I'm talking about the right person. If I'm wrong, though, I'm wrong. Army vet, it's good to see you. Glad that you're here. If it's someone else I forgot, y'all forget. Lady Nova, how are you? Good to see y'all. Listen, I got a shout out to you guys. On Saturday night, y'all show up very good. When we were over there simulcasting with Chaotic.
Chaotic, yeah.
But they showed, y'all SB Nation showed up. Y'all was 5 stars all up in there.
Exactly.
I have to say thank you. I definitely have to say thank you. Normal man, thank you so much. Watch me become. I like that. I really do. That's good. Keep going, sir. Can you keep going? I've already said hello to Mr. Myron. I haven't missed anybody. If I miss you guys, listen, thank you so much for being here. Big Bad Bull, we appreciate you. And thank you so much for what you do. All of you guys are always welcome. Make sure when you come into the live, you're giving us a thumbs up. If you all have not yet met my co-host, Black Man Unfiltered, please make sure you find your way over to his network. Check it out. He gives you a variety of things. You may enjoy it. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. Danny, how you doing today? It's good to see you. So if I miss someone, listen, I will continue to shout you out throughout the show when we have good times and breaks or what have you. Want to make sure I share one thing with you. Y'all know, if you've been here before, y'all know how we do it. The Money Line song. Tia, how are you? Aaron, how you doing? I hope you've been keeping up with the so Love C. Miss C, how are you? Good to see you guys. Is that Mr. Spencer? Hello, Mr. Spencer. I think it was Spencer, but if I got it wrong, I'm gonna make sure I get it right before the night's over with. But listen, guys, with the money line, the super chats, we read all the super chats. You all know that, and money lines are gonna go something like this.
I'ma run it every time. Give me mine. Going up, need no decline. Money line. I'ma run it.
It's good to thank you for being here. All right, guys, listen, it was one more news event or something that I want to talk about. And then we're going to jump right into this topic of today. And of course, you guys, when we get over halfway done or right at the middle somewhere, we're going to drop the link and we want to hear what you guys think also. Because here we are trying to learn how to be better people and want to be the best versions of ourselves. And we want to be intentional about the things that we're doing going forth. Because if we're talking about them, there's really no need for us to continually make the same mistakes. What you say about that, black man?
I agree with you. I can't wait till we start. I can't wait till we start.
All right. But listen, let's talk about this. On June the 6th, black man, you and I, it was on a Monday, of course. You and I had our last show. It's been a month ago. And we talked about mass shootings.
Yep.
Talked about the Second Amendment, guns and what have you, and how they're affecting us and all this good stuff that we talked about. And on that day, I went back and I looked. Y'all, that's been 1 month ago, almost to the date. I reported on that day that we've had 240 mass shootings, and we were just at the midway of the year.
Yep.
Y'all, I looked it up today, and I looked it up today because I saw Miss C somewhere. Miss C talked about, Miss C, thank you so much for this information. You didn't even know you were helping me, but thank you. She spoke about a shooting at a 4th of July parade.
Yep.
So I was like, what? So anyway, I went and looked it up, guys. We're at 250. Jedi Mike, I saw 250 today. 250 mass shootings. I can tell you where to go. It's there. 250 mass shootings, y'all.
My Lord.
So it's been 10 since in a 1 month, y'all. And today it's been three. Was it Illinois, Highland Park, and it was one more. I forgot now, y'all. Forgive me. But it's been 3. And we haven't figured out anything. And a lot of this, not all, but a lot of this includes us. But come on. 3. Now, I have no idea what happened in Highland Park today. Chicago, I don't know. I did not get into it. I just noticed listing today, there were 3. 4th of July, 3. Because they had a listing of all of them. And I just thought that this was like the most craziest thing that but once I got into it a little bit, reading about it a little bit, we're on schedule to have more than we had last year, but we had just as many last year also. So don't think it's too out of order. It's just, I guess we didn't follow or what have you, but I'm going to do some research on what happened today during the parade, why we needed to have a mass shooting, or why 6 people were deleted and I think 16 were injured. Yeah, this is crazy. So we're going to go about that again. And I'm going to reiterate what I said last week, because to me, it's just getting closer and closer to home. L. Nixon, the voice of reason, says, thank you so much for your $5 super chat. He says, shout out to the security boss. Thank you so much. So
yeah, I'm
what's
reading
going on? Huh?
I was reading it here. It says Highland Park's police chief just announced breaking news: 22-year-old man identified as a person of interest in the shooting that deleted at least 6 people and wounded 30.
6 people. I was wrong, y'all. I said 16. Forgive me.
And sent hundreds of people fleeing from an Independence Day parade in suburban Chicago. has been taken into custody. So they got him.
I said it backwards. It was 6 that were deleted.
Yes. And 30
and 16. How many were injured?
And 30 were wounded. And out of those 30, 7 of those are in intensive care. It also says here the gunman was on a rooftop. And so the gunman was on a rooftop. He just opened fire from the rooftop.
And we don't know nothing about it yet, though. We have no idea why this went on, because there was some other, that was at the parade. Now, there were 2 others in and around Chicago. Did you see anything on those?
No. I'm looking, it says here, this time the bloodshed came as a nation tried to find cause to celebrate. It doesn't say anything. I'm looking right here for something else. Oh, yeah, I see it here. North Shore University Health Center received patients after the attack. Okay, hold on. Temple said 19 of them. Okay, I said that already. I'm looking down here. I'm scrolling.
Joined. Every time I hear about them trying to do something different, forgive me, y'all. We be struggle streaming sometimes, or sometimes the internet just goes out for whatever reason. I hope you all can hear me, but we're back. I don't know exactly when this inflation thing is going to break, but we're talking about individuals are having to live in their cars. They have to send their kids to live other places. It's really getting very, very bad. And when it's like that, individuals get very, very desperate. Why would somebody be standing or approaching or patiently waiting on top of a building to shoot people at a parade? This is so unexpecting. Now, this is bad. But anyway, like, make go on to something. Did anything good happen?
Yeah, listen, it's hard to say because I'm sitting up here looking at all these shootings. They say 2 shootings in downtown Austin was 2 hours ago. 4 people shot in Baltimore at an Independence Day event. Last night in Washington D.C. was another one. I mean, it's crazy.
I knew that there were 4 today, but I didn't know exactly where they were. Hello, Ine, how are you? And listen, I want to go back and read Gia's comment, because Gia, this is a good suggestion. I hate that we get this way because we get a little stir crazy, but I got to be honest with y'all about something. But let me read your comment first. It says, Gia says, definitely had a convo with my family about avoiding major gatherings, festival, concerts, and parade. Folks lost their mind in quarantine. I believe it. They did. But y'all, this is what is so sad to me. I would love if I could live with my family, or my family could live with me, but I can't. And I hate that. If you all can live with your family, bring them in, guys. I'm suggesting something for y'all that I can't even do. But if you can, keep them close, because people are needing help right now. Y'all, a 1-bedroom is $1,500.
Right.
I mean, people, a regular or an average salary is about $2,500 in 2 weeks. So that means half of that is going to,
car payment, car insurance.
Oh, we ain't driving no car. We got to get us a moped. What are you talking about? There's no car.
Well, hell, you talking about a moped? I was thinking about a horse.
Well,
I'm from the country.
It all depends on, I was gonna say, it all depends on where you live. You might be able to have, but for me, I kind of live in the country too. But it takes you it takes us about 3. You have to have a car or some kind of mobile something to even get to the bus stop. Now,
motorcycle sales are through the roof right now.
I would suggest a moped, but you got to have somewhere where you can tie your moped down so nobody will steal it. But either way, I'm trying to say, guys, it's time to help each other. It's time to help, because we're in a bad way. And like I said, desperation, when people get desperate, they do desperate things. And when that happens, it goes back to what we talked about in the beginning about this Robin Hood syndrome, where people think, oh, you're better off than they are, so they can take yours and bring it home or what have you. That's when that kind of stuff starts happening. And I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for it. So I hope you all are not either. So thank you, Mr.
I have one more thing for you from the President Joe Biden just said.
Okay, hold on. Let's read this super chat from Mr. Hassel. Thank you so much for your $4.99 super chat. It's I'm from Memphis. Somebody gets killed every day. A lot of these kids don't have nobody. A lot of young people with no parents and no role models. Hey, listen, where are the parents? Where are they? What can we do? Listen, guys, we got to be more about solutions. If not, I promise you guys, when these young people get like this and it gets to the point they have no parents, they have nowhere to live, no money, they act out. They haven't dealt with the real world. They have no connection to people. There is no connection to the Father. They don't care anything about you as an individual, a person, or life. They don't even care about their own. They do desperate and crazy things. So y'all really pay attention to where you are, what you're doing. We gotta pay attention. Go ahead, black man.
It says here, Joe Biden just he spoke earlier and said that it is amazing that we don't have any gun laws. He said we're halfway through. This changes everything, security boss, because this is the president speaking. He said we're halfway through 2022. America has seen more than 300 mass shootings.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, he got 50. Okay.
And 15 mass killings. I'm reading it. I'm just looking at it right now.
Okay. I can see where you say that because, yeah. And what? We don't have any gun laws in place?
Yeah, that's what he said. He said that we're sitting on gun laws that should be passed.
Well, the only thing I saw that we were sitting on was the fact that they wanted to increase the age. Yeah. I saw that. Mm-hmm. Of course, I didn't see anything about the mental illness. It's just a longer waiting time. But what else did you have you read the bill? Because I didn't see anything that was different than what.
It's pretty much the same, but like you said, it's a longer waiting time on those mental checks, those background checks, right?
And it was something about there's a difference between commercial and leisure, I suppose, but I didn't see how that was going to take care of our problem.
They're trying to destroy the loophole because basically, I bless you. Mm-hmm. And basically, from here in Dallas, I could say that the loophole is huge here. Because this is a gun state. Woo, these men love their guns here, and so do I. I have mine. But I'm just saying, like, it's, you can walk around Texas with an AR on your back all day, and anybody gonna say nothing to you. You can go sit down and have dinner with it. A big old rifle on your back. Nobody gonna say nothing. It's legal to do it. And they just passed a law saying that you don't have to have a license or a class to use your firearm. So you can walk around with it.
You don't have to have a. Okay.
Texas just passed a law. Bless you.
Excuse me, y'all.
Texas, just passed a law says you do not have to have a license to carry a handgun, and you definitely didn't have to have one to carry a rifle. So now you don't need anything.
It's not as long as it's visible and not concealed. You do not have to carry. You do not have to have a license for it.
No, concealed or not.
What?
Yes, concealed or not. Yeah, y'all need to read this law. It'll blow your mind. I'm telling you, Texas on a whole nother level. Texas want to be their own.
State. I mean, they already own state, but their own little country.
they want to be their own country. I'm telling you, they're passing laws that countries pass, and they're saying even when it comes to this whole Roe v. Wade thing, they're very, very strict. Listen, if you go get one, you come back, you're illegal. If you try to go to the doctor, we don't have to serve you. Right? We don't want to have to serve. We're not serving no infections when we can be serving people with heart attacks and people dealing with sickness. And you went and did something that we told you not to do, and you're going to come back for help. If we do serve you, you'll be the last on the list.
Okay, but black man, this is real dangerous now because if I'm hearing you right, let me make sure I heard you right.
Right.
In Texas, if I wanted to carry a gun, I don't need to have any kind of certification or license for that weapon.
Nope.
And I don't have to conceal that weapon.
Not at all.
So are you a stand your ground state?
Yes.
Oh, so we can just have the shootout situation like in the Old West.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
And something else that's real big here is crime of passion. It's more men that get off here for deleting their wives than any other state in America. If you walk in on your wife having an affair with a man and you delete both of them, you're not going nowhere. Or anybody that gets into your vehicle is considered an extension of your home. So if I go out in the grocery store and I catch you in my car and I boom, 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 I'm not going nowhere. Then they also have this law where you can retrieve you can retrieve what's stolen from you. So let's say security box.
Oh, wait a minute. You could go, you find out somebody who took what you got and you can go over there and get it?
You can go get it. and so let me in one instance that happened is, let me take, boy, this is, that'll blow almost, oh, I gotta send you all this stuff because you be like, it's gonna blow your mind. There was a guy picked up a streetwalker. We're not gonna say the word. He picked up a streetwalker. He's going to pay for her services. He goes to the hotel room. He says she took a shower. While he was in the shower, she robbed him.
Stole his money. Yeah, that's common.
Common, right? She took his money, ran out. Her brother was in the car waiting for her. He pulls up. She gets in the car, takes off. The guy comes out of the bathroom with his boxers on, no shirt, and sees that she ran out the door. He sees that he's been robbed. He gets in the truck, chases them down, he knocks them off the side of the road, gets out of his truck with his AR-15, and he just, unloads 2 clips on the car. And he deletes both of them. He has not served 1 day in jail. They say he was justified because anything that belongs to him, he has a right to go get it. And his car, and so he hasn't served 1 day in jail.
Wow.
Texas, I'm telling you, their own country.
Well, it's just getting to be very hard to manage. Let's just say that. But listen, let's just get on into it because, you know what? I'd rather talk about this. But let's not forget, though, that it was another young man I heard was shot. Well, he had no weapon at the time, but it was shot by the police officers. And I think they said shot 60 times by 8 police officers.
Yeah.
And when they found him, at the time when they found him, he did not have a weapon on him.
Yeah.
But it was said to be shots coming from the car, which he was in and which he was driving. But we're going to leave it right there because I haven't investigated it.
Oh, yeah. I was going to put one more thing in there.
They said one shot came from the car. So in other words, they're saying there was a shot came from the car before he jumped out the car. But I haven't looked into it, so I don't know. I'm gonna investigate it, bring it to y'all. Hopefully next week we'll have more information, and that would be a part of our news around the world.
And when you hold on, one more, listen, hold on. I know we talking, but listen, did you see about the guy that was in the police transport van?
No,
they had him in handcuffs. They've transporting him. They antagonizing him. They hit the brakes. Boom. They didn't buckle him in, which is the policy.
Of course.
So when they didn't buckle him in, they hit the brakes. And when they hit the brakes, the impact of them hitting the brakes, he slid down the little bench in the back of the transport van, and his head went head first into the back door. It paralyzed him from neck down. Oh,
it was that much. Ooh.
And so now then they show video of them taking him out of the van after he's saying, I can't move. The doctor saying they should have never moved him. They probably could have repaired the spinal cord or whatever surgery they had to do. They picked him up like he was a piece of paper, took him into the jail, threw him in the cell with the handcuffs on his stomach, and left him.
Wow. Yeah, somebody got to take care of that. That was crazy.
Oh God, that stuff talk that pisses me off so bad. Okay, let's go to something else because my boy.
Today's topic. What is today's topic?
Man,
we done been all the way around the world. How does a man know that he is ready for marriage? How does a man know that he is ready for marriage? Black man, I'm gonna put you on the spot if you don't mind. I'm gonna ask you this question because you are a married man, and if it's okay, I need you to be honest with me. So
Absolutely.
if you didn't know, what have you, I want you to tell me because we're gonna walk our way through this because this is going back to my last live on Friday, and it was did they teach us? Were we taught to fail at marriage? Mm-hmm. Initially, when I heard that, thank you so much, Brian. Initially, when I heard that, I was like, no, because marriage is what we make it. But then as I thought about it and we came up with that title, I was like, yeah, we pretty much was taught to fail, especially if we watched our examples.
Yes.
Hey, Sir Hale, how are you doing? So seeing that we looked at our examples, we were, we were taught to fail because we really didn't have any good examples of a successful, good marriage.
Right.
We had marriages and wives and husbands all together. But again, there was a lot of foul things going on within our marriages that we grew up in, thinking that that was what marriage was about. So if I hear a man now or a woman now saying, you know what, I really don't want to partake in that, men for totally different reasons, men saying they can't find good women and women just don't want to partake for whatever reasons, I kind of understand. I kind of understand. But we're here because guess what? What it said to me though is, we weren't taught. Nobody taught us. And I think C said this last week. Nobody taught us. So guess what? We're taking away all excuses. But I want to know first and foremost, why a man or when does a man think he is ready for marriage? Because he is the one that chooses his woman. Hey, Salam, how are you? So he's the one that's out here choosing his woman, looking for her, making sure she, he can bring her to him and say, you know what, you're my wife. So Black man, I'm going to let you get us started. And we're going to just talk about this because we need to talk slow because, we're never going to let someone else say again that I wasn't taught. We're going to be the example. We're going to put it out there. This is what needs to happen. And you're not ready into this. We're not ready into that. She's not the one or whatever we got to do in order for us to get it right. But before you get started, Sir Hale Speaks has blessed us with $9.99 super chat. And he says, happy 4th and salute to the unsolicited security boss, boss, and bruh man unfiltered, bruh Black man unfiltered. Thank you so much, and you get the money line.
Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Yeah, yeah.
Listen, Snuggles. Wait a minute, Snuggles. Wait, let me read this comment from Stubbles. Go up a little bit. Snuggles. Now you come and visit us a whole lot. You probably know better than I know how this show operates.
Uh-oh.
Please don't play the music. Don't dance. Just get with the show. People don't dance no more. All they do is
She doing the Mob Deep song. No, Goody Mob. Goody Mob.
Snuggles, you've been here long enough to know how we do this. Come on now. I tell you what, we'll stop dancing when you come up.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Snuggles, for being here. We appreciate you. But anyway, y'all, make sure you're hitting the likes when you're coming into the live. And we are going to start with Black man. Black man, tell us, how did you know when you were ready to be married?
When I think most people will tag money and be financially independent, which is great. When you get with your wife, you want to be able to build. But not only men, you can build anything. I think the number one thing for me and so many other men is when you get to that moment in your life and in your heart and in your mind that she brings you peace. My Lord. So when it's time, when a man feels that he's at peace, a man will want, let me say this. I got some bars here. When a man feels like he's at peace, he wants to give you a piece of himself. He wants to give you him. He wants to give you his life, his world, his finances. He wants to give you everything. All a man wants overall, over everything, is peace. So I think that a man knows when he gets peace, when he realizes, man, this is going to be peaceful.
So has he accomplished that prior to meeting the young woman, or is this something that he a conclusion that he comes to after he's met this young woman?
I think it's going to be afterwards. I mean, before you meet her, you be at peace with yourself. But I think when you get with her and over time, you understand, after being with her for a while, dating her, courting her, whichever you choose to do, you understand, man, this girl, I've been with this girl for this amount of time, and she's never given me a reason to be unpeaceful. She's always given me peace. And so for that reason, I want to give her everything. I want to work as hard as I can, but I want to make her an honest woman. I want her to be my wife because this woman is special to me. And she brings me peace.
I like that. So before I add my little bit to it, because I'm talking to the man that hasn't met a woman yet, because I happen to think that he needs to be totally whole to as much as he knows before he actually decides he's ready to be married. But guess what? Dr. Steele has said something that is very good. So let's read his. And I kind of want to take from his a little bit because it kind of is leading towards the way that I'm going a bit. It says a man know he is ready for marriage when he knows that he is financially and mentally stable. He knows he is physically fit. But the most important fact is that the man thinks long term. I like that.
Money line.
Snuggles, this is for you.
Give me mine. Going up, you know that kind.
Snuggles.
Give me mine. Going up, you know that kind.
Yeah. So listen, this is for me. I'm telling you this. I think, and I need help with this, guys, because I'm just a woman that's been watching and praying and looking at my own marriage and examining all the things I've gone through and just living to be an example. And I'm gonna tell y'all the honest truth. Today, was it today? Yeah, I think it was today. My husband said, this is one of those times I am going to lend my wife out for a better good.
Whoa.
Conversation with me today. I think it was today or yesterday. Yeah, you know what, y'all? These days, when we had these little extra weekends like this, everything just go together for me. So let's just say he told me that. He was like, go ahead, baby, talk to him. So anyway, I think that a man knows he's ready for marriage. Now, black man, you said some good stuff. But what you said also said that he had already found that woman. And you were just basically saying she kind of completed the situation. She gave that right. He said, okay, I wanted peace, and she brought them that peace. So he's now like, okay, I'm ready now. I'm good. Mr. Steele, Dr. Steele said, he was financially and mentally ready, and he was fit and he was ready to go. Yeah, that was good too. But let me tell you something. Y'all already know. Security boss said, listen, being a man and being ready for marriage is not about money.
Yep.
It's not about money. Now, y'all gonna say different, and if y'all say different, I'm gonna have to accept your differences. But before I do that, Sammy Kuweba, I could be saying that wrong. Forgive me if I am. Thank you for the $1.49 and salt shaker. You doing the salt shaker? Anyway, I happen to think that all those things are important and all those things are included. But the one thing that I like to hear, if I were to ask another man that, and in his statements, he would say something to the effect that I'm ready to love and I'm ready to share. And black man, you were the person that said it. You said, I'm ready to give. You didn't say it as in share, but you was like, I'm ready to give this. I'm ready to share this. I've accomplished all these things. In other words, this man who's ready for marriage has accomplished everything that he wanted for himself. All of it. Now he's sitting back and he's saying, but I'm not done.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm ready to share.
Right.
It's almost like God did with Adam.
Mm.
Almost like that. Can y'all feel that?
Yeah.
He was like, you got all this stuff and you did this and you have dominion over all your job is to name everything here, but it's still something that you once you are able to accomplish and have accomplished all those things that you want, the finances, if it's the finances, if you're an entrepreneur, the reason why I said the money is not always the win all be all, because I use myself as an example. My husband is an entrepreneur. He was going to have many businesses from day one to the end. So, but he knew that he was an entrepreneur though. The basis of this is finding and making sure you know who you are. Mm. You don't have to have, for me, you wouldn't have to have perfected it before you say, I want a wife. Right. Because perfection comes in times. It comes in relationship. It comes in love. It comes in all of that. And sometimes, and I'm going to tell y'all the truth about it, I believe marriage brings upon that. Now, I do know that marriage can be bad, but I think it's bad because we don't educate ourselves about being married. If you're a man that hasn't reached those goals for yourself and you're not ready to share, your marriage will be difficult because you got some growing pains that you must go through because you didn't do your homework.
Yep.
Dearly beloved.
But if now we're saying we were taught to fail, but now we're saying, no, we're going to go back and read the blueprint on how it is to be married, then we have no longer any excuse on failing. Now, listen, the blueprint for me is the one that God the Father has created. He said he's first. He and Jesus for him, me are the same. They're one and the same. Then there's my husband. My husband would know exactly what his role is as my husband. And then it would be me. And then it would be the children. If you don't know these things, and don't know the role of that man, you are not ready to be married. You're not. But you can easily go to that blueprint once you say, I want to be married. Once you say it out of your mouth, you go, okay, let me go figure out what I need to do. But before I go on, let's see. Sir Hale, thank you so much. He says a man should have established work ethic and a path for the financial life before marriage. You said it best.
Dearly beloved.
I agree. Don't mean he got to be no rich man. It don't mean he's got to be, 6 figures. It means none. It just means he needs to know who he is and is on his path to establishing that. That's all it means.
Exactly.
He's the man. He's the man. Yeah, I'm trying to tell y'all, women push that a lot. And young men, I know that you feel like once you've accomplished, I said, but let me tell you something. Let me tell you what that does. When a man thinks that all he has to do is accomplish money, and that's what he leads with, that's what the women value. The women that you attract, that's what they value. That's when you find women that want nothing from you but your money. And when they use you up, they leave.
Exactly.
And that's when you get these women that are not submissive. You know, along the way, once your money get gone, along the way, they may want to go 50-50 with you, but they're not really trying to be about you on your plan and your wife. They're not trying to be that way. So, Scam, like I said, teaching the women, I don't know. I'm teaching whoever wants to hear because the message is the same. You know, God's principles, they're the same. The message is the same. It's written for both. I'm teaching marriage. I'm not necessarily teaching the men or teaching the women. The question went out to the men because, of course, that's who I normally, because you all are the ones who look for or find the woman. Now, Dusto, if you want me to be absolutely honest about this, the men do a lot of teaching for the women. I got to be honest with you. I was for one, but once I got married, I had to adapt to my husband. I only have one. You know, there's no universal wife key. Y'all understand what I mean by that? Right. It's not just a good wife. It's a good wife to you. And that's something that man who finds a wife will have to do. That woman has to adapt to that man. So Lou says, SB, you know, these women don't want 50-50. Keep it real. Listen, I've been hearing that they do want 50-50. So Lou, you tell me something different. I'm open to whatever you all are telling me, but I'm taking the excuses away now of why a marriage can't and won't work. Because on this other side here, I hear so many different things, Black man, in these platforms, right? Mm-hmm. I'm telling you guys, and I'm talking to the men and the women. It's so peaceful. You're talking about peace, the peace that men want before they get married. Black men, you're exactly right, because marriage is peaceful. A good marriage will bring you peace. It's a covering. It's a protection.
Yes. I'm
talking about a good marriage. I'm talking about the marriage that is built on those godly principles. Now, let me free some of you out, because some of y'all gonna be like, but what if I don't believe in Christ? What if I'm not religious? Listen, you can align your marriage with the same principles and never have to give reference to the Father. It's all morality, discipline. That's all it is. Yep. It's discipline, morality, and love. Basically, that's what it is. So you don't have to be a religious person. You don't have to give reverence to the Creator. You know what? You don't have to. You're breathing. That's enough.
Enough.
Is it not? How'd that happen? Have to. Where'd it come from?
Oh, wait.
Exactly.
I'm breathing.
Guys, there's really no excuse about this. It's no excuse. But I'm saying to you, we're going to become educated because I believe and I feel like I have a relationship. My husband and I talk crazy to each other, y'all. And when I say crazy, I mean crazy as in good. I mean, he's my bestie. I like him. And I share so many things with him and vice versa. Like, he's like, babe, but how do you make sure, how do you gonna explain this to individuals? I said, this is what I do. I say, listen, men, instead of going to the cigar lounge on Friday, find out what your wife is interested in. Build with your wife. Women, instead of trying to go on these girl trips, these female girl trips that men are not welcome.
Uh-oh.
What am I doing? What am I doing that my husband cannot know about?
Ooh.
See, that in itself is not good. That is not good. Not good.
They're coming to get you.
Who coming to get me? Come on, ladies.
Because like in the chat right here, Lou said these women get bored with peace.
Look, listen. It's not that they get bored with peace. It's just immaturity. We have to grow up together. Any grown person sitting up talking about they bored, they're immature. They're immature. That's all it is. I'm just saying, y'all don't get mad at me. Everybody can't be there all at one time, but we got to recognize where we are. If I married a man and I said I'm gonna be with him forever, I'm gonna be making it my forever. If I got to swing from the ceiling fan, if we got to use the whipper creamer, all this stuff you hear about that go out here in the street, all this stuff you hear about that go on in the street, why in the world can you not bring that inside your marriage and make it forever? Because remember, there's nothing, your marital bed is not defiled. Yeah, so this is what you're supposed to be doing. Come on.
You're supposed to be tooting, booting, and stroking and letting it go.
All in there. All up in there. But listen, let me read this $9.99 super chat from Sir Hale Speaks. He says, unsolicited security boss. I'm gonna do it in his words. Wait a minute, black man, you know how to talk like Sir Hale.
Yeah.
He's
ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so listen, unsolicited security boss. Yeah, many women and men want marriage. They don't know how to be with the person they marry.
A lot of men are married and still don't have a wife. Vice
versa too. Y'all know we struggle stream again. I think our internet is playing games on us. But
tell Mr. Boss to check his phone every time something happens. I'm gonna message him because you've been freezing a lot.
Oh, I have been. I don't know what's going on around here. Okay, but let us know. So listen, I'm gonna read Sir Hill's comment again because this is real deep. Unsolicited security boss. Many women and men want marriage. They don't know how to be with the person they marry. A lot of men are married and still don't have a wife, and vice versa. Listen, you get the money line song.
Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Money line, I'ma run.
The security boss, you froze again. Hold on. I can't hear you. Hold on.
It's back, man. I think it's you. You're the person that's freezing.
Am I frozen?
But anyway, not right there. Not at the moment. Anyway, let's get back to Sir Hale. Sir Hale, you are exactly right because we were taught. Yeah. We were taught to fail. It's not many of us that have examples of people that are pouring into their marriage relationships. They don't do it. They put it on autopilot and they think it's supposed to grow without feeding it anything. So you're exactly right. But I'm taking all the excuses away because guess what? Unfortunately, we did make mistakes in the beginning. Some of us made mistakes choosing our partners. But guess what? They're now our partner. And we have probably had children with them or whatever. And so what I'm saying to you is build your foundation from where you are. If you're a man and you are now ready to be married, you maybe wouldn't when you, it's me? Yeah. Okay. It was maybe you were not ready. You were not ready when you did it. Because guess what? Let's just admit to this. Let's just admit to it. We don't always have it together. Some people just get married because they think that's what they're supposed to do. Right? So, what What? Go ahead.
Security boss, I'm looking at this chat. So the ladies are kind of concerned. We're gonna talk about this tomorrow.
Go ahead. What they saying? Tell us about.
What's wrong with girl trips?
Oh, for me, a girl. Listen, I don't believe in girl trips because I'm married. I don't need a girl trip. I don't even really need best friends. Unless, wait a minute, let me put some context on that.
So
if we going on a gospel, we going on a Christian retreat with other married women, ain't nothing wrong with it. It's just for a weekend and it's sometimes. But no way would I ever find myself with single women on a girl's trip. Now, you're going to ask me what's wrong with it. I'm going to tell you. Going to take my time. I'm going to tell you. This is what's wrong. Single women and married women do not think alike. And if they do, there's a problem. Because a married woman's interest is in her husband and then her family. A single woman's interest is in her and what she wants. A married woman don't think like that. Married woman don't think like that. And then guess what else, guys? It ain't nothing but influence. Nothing but y'all can tell yourself anything you want to. Oh, what she do don't bother me, or what she do don't bother me. But let her have a good old night out, good old Friday night out, and she come sending you the D pics. She gonna slide them on it because you her girl, so she gonna slide the D pics in your phone. What does a married woman have anything to do with D pics that came from her bestie, single girlfriend? Why would you do that? That's not appropriate. Now, y'all can say whatever you want. I'm just telling you how to protect your marriage at this point. Y'all didn't believe me, but this is how you proceed. I want a seamless situation. I want my husband to know that I'm totally devoted. I'm about long-term. Him. He's the man that moves me. He's the man that moves me. No other man moves me. But if he should ever see a dick,
oh my God.
He ain't got no pearls on him. I'm clutching. If he should ever see a D of another man, any man in my phone, he gonna be like, this ain't my wife. And I'm gonna be like, you know what? It ain't. What about wives trips? I did that one. Then I said no single women. No single women. Now, wives, listen, let me talk to you about that.
Come on. I'm finna say it. You better
come on. Let me talk to you about that now. I do really realize, see, I have grown kids, so I can't be in y'all head and I can't be in y'all house. So listen, I understand when you have little kids, you might need a little break. I do understand that. But we do not go anywhere with single women. If it's a wife, your mama-in-law, like that, I'm with that. But I'm just basically talking about them single influences that that kind of stuff. Ooh, laugh out loud. Y'all act like girls trip means sleeping around. Does it? Oh, because I didn't even think that. Does that mean no? I'm not trying to say you're sleeping around. I'm talking about clearly influence. I'm telling you, you ain't got to go out of town with the young ladies that are single. I'm telling you, don't have the single women around you. Period. Because now listen, you don't hate the women. They're still your girls. I'm not talking about like that. But the influence and the conversations should change because you're no longer a single woman once you get married. See, I'm talking about a marriage that is good, a marriage that you like when your husband walk in the door, you be smiling. What's up, babe? That kind of stuff. Not, what's up, nigga? Nah, not that. I'm talking about you glad to see him. He glad to see you. Y'all are happy. It's not one that you dread. It's not one that you run from. None of that. I'm talking about building in a relationship that you can be happy about. And I don't even want to use the word happy. I want to use long-term, what do you call that? I'm satisfied. How about that? I'm satisfied.
And most girls' trips are about spirits, right? Because we know they ain't gonna go be sober the whole time. And even in the married groups, I recall watching that episode of The Real, and because I have to be, I have to listen to everything to be on these social media streets. However, I was listening to one of the ladies on the show that's married. She said she went on all girls trips with her married friends, and her married friends went out. She said she was at a little headache. She went back to the room. She said all of a sudden the door opens. Her friend walks in with two guys, one for her and one for her.
Wait a minute, you said they were married?
Yeah, the two women are married, but she said the two dudes, they're real nice looking men, real cut up, chocolate men. And she said her friend brought one for her and she had one for herself. And she was like, no, I ain't gonna be able to do that. I'm married.
You see, that already don't look right. Because see, two men then already broke the threshold of the resort room or whatever that you were living in, Airbnb or whatever. They done already came over the threshold.
Right.
What if they were killers? What if they were grapers? What if it just wasn't right?
Yeah.
And then you done lost your life. And who gonna explain? Who gonna explain it? Your husband gonna go be thinking that you were entertaining another man? Come on, y'all. You have to protect your union. This is a real thing. Listen, I'm going to say it like this. What about couples trip? I don't have any problem with couples. But guess what? I don't hang out with people that don't believe what I believe. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to be religious, because I don't consider myself religious. But I'm saying you got to have some sort of belief system that keeps you, because otherwise you'll be doing any and everything. Because it's nothing that will keep you from not doing it. So it doesn't mean I won't talk to you. I'm talking about hanging out with you. Y'all know how y'all always, did y'all know that if you're in a car and a crime is being committed with that car, you're just as guilty as the person that committed the crime? See, I'm trying to avoid that. You know, if I'm committing a crime and I get caught for it, I really want to have to be the person who did it.
And my brother put me onto this. My brother said, if you go, because I'm from Louisiana, if you go to Mardi Gras, I'm gonna tell you something, security ball. You go to Mardi Gras and you'll see women out there, all of them have wedding bands on, and they be doing some strange things for funky change. And you'll be looking at them, and sometimes some of the guys will be like, we're gonna take a toll on how many women, we're gonna take numbers on how many married women we can hit tonight. Oh yes, and those married women, man, when I'm telling you in Mardi Gras, them women don't give a damn about no husbands. If your wife telling you, baby, I'm going to Mardi Gras with my friends, my other married friends for the weekend, you better say, I'm going with you. I'm going with you. Because even when the women with you, the men approach your woman right in front of you.
Wow.
But
listen,
listen,
Black man, I have no idea how we got here. How did we get from men knowing when they're ready for marriage all the way over here to the Louisiana Mardi Gras? How did we do this?
I was relating to what you were saying about these women. They will go on these trips, and a lot of women, like still in the chat right now, RK said, y'all act like married women are not strong enough to think for themselves. When I was married,
let me tell you something, RK. Oh, go ahead. You tell them.
No, I was reading the rest of what she said. She said, think for when I was married, there was nothing anybody married or single can convince me to do something that I'm not supposed to do.
So let me tell you, RK, I'm just going to keep it real, because you're not being real. I don't know who you are, but I bet you right now you got your beautiful nails done. You got your hair done. Probably, I don't know who RK is, but guess what? It's what you call influence. And you in this world, and I am too. And we are being influenced by something. Trust me, we are. We are being influenced by something. Sometimes influence can sneak in and you ain't even know that it was. I almost said the D word a minute ago.
Dearly beloved.
I almost said it. I don't talk like that. That would have been wrong of me. But I was almost influenced to do so, right? So I can admit to that. We're talking about accountability. Right. We can play games and pretend that other men don't exist. There are no more good-looking men in the world. Six packs don't attract us. We could do all of that. We can act like those drinks that we drink don't make us warm in the inside. We could play all them games. But I'm telling you, it's not real. If you're in this world, you're being influenced by something. The best thing you can do is be accountable and try to keep your influence to a minimum. You have to guard your eyes, guard your ears, and watch where you go. And that's just real. It's just real. RK, I would love for you to cam up, because I'm married, grown, older, probably than a lot of you all. And I'm telling you, I'm still a woman. I still have men hitting on me every day. And every time they do it, I smile.
Dearly beloved.
I smile.
And you know what? She asked about the men. Does that go for the men too that want to go out?
Absolutely. I started with the men. I said the men, if you're trying to meet up at the cigar bar every Friday night, no, you're wrong. You need to check in with your woman, y'all. Come on. No. See, listen. My husband used to go to, he went to a barbershop, but it was a Bible study being done at a barbershop. Let me tell you something. Even that even them conjugating that way got to be so foul. Did y'all hear what I said? I said it was a Bible study, but it got to be so foul / real. He was like, you know what? I don't even think I'm going back. And he didn't. So listen, y'all got to understand what I'm saying. We got to keep it real. We got to account for what we're doing. Ain't nobody said nothing about nobody cheating. I'm talking strictly about influence. A married woman and a single woman should think differently. They should think different. And if you don't, RK, what you saying right here? So married friends can't influence one to do something wrong. Absolutely. You got to pick your friends, but you would think a married couple, me and you married, and RK, you and your husband married, we would have the same interests because we are married. Now that don't make them a perfect people. And that don't make us a perfect people, but they should have the same interests. But guess what, RK? Whenever you find out, because Black Man gave the example of how the married woman brought two men into the Airbnb, right?
Right.
So when you find out that married woman or that married man, could be that married man looking at you too long. If he is looking at you too long, you might need to tell your husband, you know what? We're going to call him Married Man B. Married Man B been looking at me a little too long. Because you still a woman and he's still a man. Then y'all might need to distance yourself from that couple. It ain't got nothing to, we're talking about the mindsets of individuals. But let me go ahead and read what you're saying. You got to have your own mind, morals, and values. I never said that there is no such thing influence, but it can come from anywhere. Guess what? You're saying the same exact thing I'm saying. No one said anything about sleeping together either, but I'm saying don't pretend, but you have to guard, you have to protect your marriage. And the way to protect your marriage is don't entertain things. This is me talking. Not entertaining things has kept my husband and I for 27 years. We don't entertain.
Dearly beloved.
Certain things. And if we see that things are, you got to keep it real, y'all. If you see things that are not good, that don't have an appearance of sin, that's when you have to flee. Now, we're fortunate that we are entrepreneurs. We don't have to go out into the regular corporate workforce and see a whole lot of different.
You're freezing again. Should be back in just a second, guys. But I did want to address some things I saw in the chat, because in the chat it says, Tia said, when I was single or in a relationship, I knew it was a time to remove myself from a situation or avoid it altogether. That, yeah, absolutely. 100%. 100%. Let's see here. Love C said, yeah, you were frozen for a long time. You were frozen.
Let's read Lioness's Black Man. It looked like it's I think OG said it was me, but it looks like it's you. But okay, we're gonna hopefully it won't happen to me more times.
I kept the show going for you, so go ahead.
Okay, so listen, Lioness says, thank you so much for your $20 super chat. She said, us married women have to set the standard for the single women. Exactly, and thank you so much for your $20 super chat, and you get the money line.
I'ma run it every time. Give me mine. Going up, need no decline. Money line. I'ma run it every time. Give me mine. Going up, need no decline.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say this, and we're gonna get back to the title.
Right.
RK, and I'm not singling RK out. I appreciate her so much for sharing with us in the comment section. But I need to say this: I'm an adult woman, been married a long time, but I am a woman, and I do have an eye, and I know what a good-looking man looks like. And for me, myself, to say that that a man can't tempt me, or that I wouldn't dare be tempted by a man. And I teach this. I'm telling y'all how to flee. So my whole message is this: you flee the appearance of sin, and you always protect your marriage. And I do that by not allowing certain forces, certain individuals, or whatever. I don't allow that close to my marriage. That's all I'm saying. Now, I'm not putting that on a particular friend, on a particular person. And this is just me, because guess what? It can look so good until it don't. Now, every girl got a story about how her bestie done either sit on her man lap, tried her man, or couldn't wait for her to go around the corner so she can get her man. Come on, y'all. Let's just be honest. We do. Because Black Man Unfiltered loves a good gossip session.
Exactly. And guess what? And I was just about to bring that up. I'm glad she said that, because guess what? There's a huge video that just went viral of this woman, young lady, walking in on her husband and her mom having sex.
Wait a minute. What? Say it again.
She walked in and caught her husband having sex with her mom. And her mom told her, she said, "Mom, I can't believe you did this. We're done, blah, blah, blah." And her mama said, "You ain't taking care of him. You cuss him out every day. You treat him like he ain't nothing, and he need a woman. He needed a good woman, and I gave him myself."
Oh, God. I don't want to hear that. Oh, that's terrible. Your mama?
The mom.
Oh, I got one better for you. And no, we're going to get back to it. We're going to get back to it. Listen, this is awful. Y'all listen, all I'm trying to say is protect your marriage. And we're going back to the man. When does a man know that he's ready for marriage? Again, I say, I am still your mama.
Yeah, that's what she said. So Lou's repeating what the lady said in the video.
This is what I'm talking about, y'all. We have to be honest about this. We pretended that we're not real people, and that, listen, that's the worst thing that can happen is you think that you're above reproach. That's crazy. We're not anything. We are real people. Yeah. Real things happen.
Lou is repeating what the woman said in the video. The mama said to the daughter, because the daughter started going off and cussing at her, and she said, "I'm still your mama at the end of the day. So don't get to talking crazy."
Wow. So let's go back to the topic. Okay, because we got this far. So the man has decided. How does a man know that he is ready for marriage? Mm-hmm. Like I said, you all mentioned financial, mental. I like what you said, Black man, the most, and I'm adding to it, because a man realizes that you're exactly right. He's ready for marriage when he can sit back and peacefully say to himself, "I've done everything that I needed to do." And he has a peace about that. He looks around. He's like, I don't know if it's material things. I'm not sure. But the most important thing now is that his mind is changing. Mm-hmm. He is no longer thinking as a single man or self-seeking or being selfish. Now he's like, I'm ready to share. Mm-hmm. So now I need to find a woman. I need to find a wife.
Exactly.
Thank you. How are you? That's when a man, men, this is me telling you, and y'all don't have to listen to me. I know how it is. This is when I think a man is ready to be married, when he can peacefully sit back and say, I've done this, I've done that. I'm ready to lead. I'm the head. Now I'm ready to share. Yep. Because understand, your mindset has to change from a single mindset to a marriage mindset when you're ready for marriage. And so often, us included, me and Mr. Boss included, you go into a marriage and you don't know this. You have no idea that your mindset is supposed to change. You just like your girlfriend. You think she cute and you ready to marry her. She may not even be a wife. She may not even know how to clean a darn house.
Oh my God.
I even want to clean a house. She may not even see anybody who knows how to clean a house. Do you know that there are people out there that don't do this?
Yeah.
You did know that?
Yeah. People out there. It's some women say, I don't cook, I don't clean. I ain't doing none of that. So you just gonna have to love me for me.
Guess what? You just walked in on that. That's what you walked into, being a husband. So in other words, you figured out you've done all you're supposed to do. So once that's happened, you can now slow down, because you see, like when you all are building, this is how I see men. Y'all can get anything y'all want. You put y'all mind to, y'all are so focused. Most men that I see and take note to, y'all are very focused. Y'all are very, what do you call it? Y'all set goals and y'all go get it. If y'all say y'all want something, there's nothing that anybody can do to keep you all from doing that. This is what I see of men. That's very valuable, because me as a woman, I'm not like that. I can set a different goal every month and not accomplish any one of them, but I'm still good. I'm still doing something and I'm good with that. But y'all say, I want a whatever, and I want it by this time. Y'all go get it. So right when you have accomplished all of that and you say, I'm done, I'm finished, this is good, then it's time to share. And now you're saying, you know what? I'm ready for that woman. That is the time, and you're ready to share. Now, if you're still telling yourself it's about you, you still got to do this, you still need to do this, you need to still do that, continue to do it. But don't bring no wife onto that yet. It ain't time.
Yeah, did you see the chat? Somebody in the chat said, let's see. She said, my friend is married and she don't cook.
Okay. I don't cook a lot either, but this is 27 years later. Listen, it's all about what you and your mate have put together. Now, if she not cooking, it's causing this man, if he over here griping, sitting in the car when he roll up, don't even want to go in the house because he can't get a good meal, then that don't mean nothing. She may not be cooking. That don't mean that it's good that she don't. I don't know. Every individual situation is different. She may be too busy to cook. They may be, the situation might be that they all too busy to do so. Who really knows? Every situation is different. So, right. But that's not the point. I heard someone say this. If a woman, well, let me ask you, black man, if a woman is not being able to clean a house, don't really want to work, she don't have to. So she got a good man, he's taking care of that. She don't want to clean up the house. She don't even want to manage the house. Y'all, I hate to ask you ladies, what y'all gonna do? What is our value? If we're not willing to manage the house, take care of the house, whether you're cooking the food or ordering the food or bringing the food or whatever you're doing, preparing it. If we can't do those things, what are our value? What is the value for the woman? I'm asking the question now. I'm asking the question for y'all. What is my value? If I'm not doing any of those things, what is my value? Why am I here? Why am I here, black man?
I don't know. I think that those are some of the characteristics that a man desires. And if he doesn't get those things,
it goes further than what the man desires. What am I doing? What is my role? I'm the wife. I'm the helpmate. Can I expect my husband to go out to work and come home and cook? Should I do that? So listen, we're gonna drop the link. I want to hear what others are saying, but for men, my all I'm suggesting for you all is to make sure that you have come, and I think black man's words were best, come to a point of peace with yourself, and you've done all the things that you wanted and needed to do. Now you're ready to share your life. And at that point, you can find a good wife. You really can, because you're no longer pressured to achieve for yourself. There's no more pressure on you because you've done what you wanted to do. That don't mean you're rich. That don't mean you got 6 figures. That just means you know who you are. And guess what? It don't mean that you're totally all together either. You know what I mean? You know how some people be like, oh, this man got to be perfect. This man got to be this. No. It don't mean that. It doesn't mean that for me, because sometimes a wife actually adds to who you are at that time. For me, and I'm going to say it this way, she just actually is an asset to you, which may make you a better person.
Right.
Which might make you a better person. But listen, let me read Alan Q's $19.99 super chat. That's what she said. Single men laugh out loud. Single men watching laugh out loud. JP. Hey, SB and black man infilter. What is this infilter?
Yeah, I think she missed
typing. You know how she be doing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your $19.99 super chat, Alan girl Q, and you get the money line.
Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Yeah.
The chat is undefeated tonight. The chat says, what somebody said, let me go back to it. I would prefer, no, the wife should be willing to cook. That's okay. So Nina said that's for the man to determine what's valuable to him in that woman. Now, let me say this. Some men will find value in their women. However, some men will also settle for those women. And what happens is,
what woman is that? Settle for what woman?
The woman that says, I don't cook, I don't clean, but I still get a ring, right? And so sometimes those men will settle because of how she looks. But then 25 years in later, and she doesn't look as beautiful as Security Boss looks right now still in 25 years. He'll start doing is he'll start looking at her like, because
listen, I don't even agree with that. I think if a woman came to a good man and said, I don't cook, I don't clean, he wouldn't fool with her. Now, if it ends up that she doesn't need to cook nor clean, that's totally different. That's totally different. Like I said, I don't have any young people around me. I don't cook. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Will I cook? Do I prepare breakfast for my husband every day? Yeah, but that ain't cooking, y'all. Some eggs, an omelet, that ain't cooking. I mean, when you say cooking, I'm thinking you're talking about like a meal, like some, turkey wings, some collard greens, and
cornbread, and some yams.
Listen, I want somebody up in here cooking like that for me. But anyway, what I'm saying is my husband and I, it's almost cheaper for us to eat out than it is for us to go to the grocery store and for me to have to do something like that. And we're busy people. So you're exactly right, Nina. It is for your husband to decide what he needs for you to do. And he does find value. But if a woman is approaching a man that way with, I'm not going to do, that's not going to work. That's not going to work, because especially if it's the man that I just described, being that he has been on his purpose, he has accomplished and came to the conclusion on who he is. Now he's ready to share his life. He's ready to share with a woman, and he's ready to love that woman. He's definitely looking for a woman that is ready to submit and to be his helpmate. Yeah. And again, the next thing that needs to happen is she has to adapt to him. So you're right.
It's all about helping.
Yep. All right. So Moses, can we see who you are, please? Once we see who you are, we'll definitely bring you up. The camera now, we got to be able to see something. We don't want to make sure, do you know this person, Black man? I don't know exactly this particular Moses. Moses DTX. I don't think I know this Moses.
Yeah, Moses DTX in the back. All you have to do is turn your camera on, show your face, wave, smile at the camera. And if you don't want to cam up when you come up, you don't have to. However, Mr. Boss in the background that manages this beautiful platform would like to see your face, because he's protecting and covering his wife at this time. So if you can show your face, that'd be great. If you can't, we can't let you up, brother. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for that. But anyway, getting back to it. So, Black man, now we're taking away the excuses, because we're going back to the beginning, and we're going to learn what it's like to be married, or what marriage is about. Are we in agreement with that? So all men who are interested in women, who are interested in being married, I want you to go figure out what marriage is about. Look at this beautiful woman.
Wait a minute. What celebrity they let in here tonight? What's going on, girl?
Y'all are funny. Good evening. Happy 4th.
Yay.
How are you?
Good, how you doing? Good. I hung out with my family today, so I had a great time.
Well, good. Now, see, I know you getting ready for a husband, right?
Yes. Wherever you are, if you're in the chats right now. Hello. No.
Wow. What about that?
In the chat.
What do you have to add to this, Q? What you think about this? This was Moses. Moses, I know who you are. I'm sorry.
What's up, Moses? How you doing, brother?
I didn't know the DTX part on the end. But
it's all good.
Q, tell me about it. When do you think a man would be ready for marriage? And woman, whichever one.
Regarding the woman, I think we're ready for it earlier than men, right? What I hear regarding my man friends or people on the platform, men want to get into their career before they settle down and everything of that nature. And I think women, as soon as they graduate school, college, they want to get married. They want to have kids. That's in their mindset, right? So I think for women, we definitely see marriage and wanting to get married quickly compared to men.
Yeah, you are exactly right. We definitely do. But I'm challenging all women who are not married, yourself included, to learn what it's like to be married, to learn what marriage entails before you do it. Even though you're ready and you want it, figure out your role in a marriage before you actually take those steps. There's an actual blueprint out there for it.
Yeah.
So you don't have to question it. You can be like, I got to be willing to be sacrificial. I got to be willing to be submissive. And you don't have to be like, and I know you don't do this, but some women submissive. What?
They think it's a negative thing. And I'm like, girl,
no reason. We can do a whole paper on submission, submitting your will to one to another for a greater good. That's what it means. If you can't see the meaning and feel that for another person, marriage is not for you. Mm-hmm. It's not. Don't mess with it. Don't ruin a good man. Dr. Eugene Steele. A good unexpected man.
So true. So true.
Right.
Don't do it. So that is very good. That's very good. So listen, Alan girl, you got a girl. Do you have a lot of girlfriends, friend girls, whatever you all call
I'm
them?
gonna be honest, no, and I like it that way.
Okay.
Right? Because I feel what I've noticed in the past, girls complain too much. Girls, like, I'm the type of person, I'm not going to tell what's going on with me or my personal issues or anything of that nature. I keep it within. But regarding my small group of friends, we're all like level headed. A lot of them are in the relationships or married. So I like it that way because girls can just talk. And I don't want to hear all that. I don't want to hear the complaining. And then I give you advice and you don't listen. You go back and you do X, Y, and Z. So I love my small circle of friends. I love it just like that. I don't want no more.
Good. That is very good. So where did he go? Oh, Moses, tell me something. Dr. Steele, how you doing? I'm gonna talk to Moses, and then we're gonna come over to you.
Doing fine.
Tell me what you think. When do you think a man is ready to be married?
Well, first off, I want to say thank you for speaking on the segment. I think it's important for this conversation to be had because honestly, I've already experienced this through a divorce, right? So I think for young people under me, because I'm 29, understanding men have to know their purpose first, for her to be under you, to trust you as a leader. So, because back then I didn't know my purpose as well as I do now. I do now today because I didn't know back then because I was 23 and I got came to Texas on my own. Since I've been out here for 5 years, I still didn't know my purpose till I got to that relationship. So knowing from that, I think young men have to understand you got to know your purpose in this life from God. Obviously, you have to understand your calling. And one of the things I always tell young men and I ask ladies this question too. I said, what is God calling you to do to heal this world? Because you're not called to be in this world for yourself. You're here to do a service to the people around you to help people get out of the situation that they're not doing the right things to put them in the right path. So if your purpose is to help, you should be doing that to help people for your purpose, not be in your own selfish gain.
I like that. And when you get to that point, your mindset has just changed or converted, I should say, from a single person. So that means okay. So that's really good. So listen, let me tell you something though. When you are now picking, so now you've gotten to the point you're ready to be married, and now you're going to be finding that perfect woman. What would be your next step in doing so? How would you know?
I mean, honestly, I've been really studying this for a while. I think for me is knowing a woman's life or her family. It's one thing I've always noticed. It's like, how do you treat your father, your mother? Like, I mean, your siblings, how they treat you, how you treat them. I think it's always going back to that family life. And the biggest thing I've studied reading a book called Strong Fathers, Strong Daughters, the psychology of a father and a daughter relationship kind of determines her relationship with the men she chooses. You see what I'm saying? And that brings a lot of things to the table men are not talking about. I think we should understand that a mother-son relationship matters too for women to look at men. So let's keep it vice versa, right? Women and father-daughter relationships have to be seen and understood because if you don't see that understanding there, why was she rebellious at a certain age and why did she do certain stuff? You know what I'm saying? And how
Yeah.
are they today as a woman growing from that situation? Because we may say we're doing the right things now, but back then, why did you do what you do to where you are now? Because sometimes sometimes fathers spoke on things, but did they listen at the time when they were told? Did they take it and just didn't care? Or now they realize it made sense today, not the age they're at, to know my dad was right, and now they changed, but now what are they doing today in their life with their father and daughter relationship? I think it just depends on where they're at with their relationship with their father and just seeing how they've grown since then from the past mistakes and, and how does that relationship still work today for them if the father gets to be a part of their choosing of the man they're liking, and is to make sure if they're properly set in a position to get a good wife for the man that's choosing, of course, and how's the father involved helping him, know that she's a good woman for him, because obviously the father's going to help him know, like, it's my daughter, but you have to understand my daughter is, there's some things I'm not getting past, and I'm still a father, and we have to look at that still as a dynamic for men to be testing the waters to ask those questions. So that's what I would say.
So listen, there's a big part. I speak on the blueprint, and the blueprint for me is for men. It goes by the principles of the creator, right? And we already know that he's the head, and then we have the man that is the leader. I would say to all men, you should look up this blueprint. It's in Corinthians. And it tells you for a man exactly what you should give your wife. It outlines what a man should do. Unlike being, or in addition to being a servant, you're the person that is connected to the Father. You also give your wife love. And it's not this love that keeps you happy. It's not that kind of stuff. Nobody really cares. Marriage is not about happiness. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know marriage wasn't about happiness?
It's not.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not about happiness. Now, happiness can't come within it, but it's not about that. And one of the most important things that the blueprint speaks of that a man needs to have for a wife is love. And love is broken down. One of the first things it says is patience. Men, if you think that you are ready to be married and you're not patient, you can't take on a wife, let alone kids. So you have to really self-reflect. You have to really. Another one that sticks out for me so very much is self-seeking. There's no way. Now, this is a part of love. There's no way you can be self-seeking and have love for another. So when I say go back to the blueprint, and I didn't want to break the blueprint all the way down, and I'm just telling you, this is what the training needs to look like. So I'm calling on all men to pass the training on, because for women, it's quite easy. It's submission and respect. But for men, because you are the heads, you are the leaders, you're the person that stands in between us and the Father. You're delivering the messages. You're covering. That means that you are the ones with the hardest job. So there's more for me. I'm saying there's more instruction for you. So I need for you all to understand that the information is there, because we were not taught this. We were not. No one taught, and I'm going to say me, maybe some people were in marriage or had good examples from their mother and father, but no one ever said that you got to be kind. There's some mean ass people that are married. Y'all know that, don't you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You was like, where in the world is this anger coming from?
Right.
And SB, can I add something in there what you just said too? With Galatians 5 verse 22 through 23, you got to remember the foundation of love is God, right? So
God, yeah,
without the love, right? Love is the beginning, and then the next is joy, right? With joy then comes peace, right? With peace comes patience. With kindness comes goodness. With goodness comes faithfulness. Gentleness comes self-control. So you can't have one without the other. So it's an order to everything. And the foundation is love.
And Moses, I love
sir.
that scripture, because as soon as you said it, I was about to say it, but I didn't want to take your spotlight. But I love that scripture. You know why it's important? Because go back to the first three, and I want you to read the first three again. And I want people to know what's not in there, because a lot of people get it mistaken. Read the first three.
Wait a minute. What you mean? What's not in there? What do you? Okay, go ahead, Moses.
I'm going somewhere with this. Go ahead, Moses.
Okay.
The first three we said is love. Without love, there's no joy. Without joy, there's no peace.
Stop right there. Without love, there's no joy. God never promised us happiness.
Oh,
a lot of people get it mixed up and say, "Oh, I'm not happy. I want a divorce."
Black man, where were you at about 3 minutes ago?
I had to go to the bathroom. I told Mr. Boss I had to go to the bathroom real quick. So I missed
we started with that.
Yeah, my bad. I'm just catching up.
No. Listen, I want to listen. What you're saying is so right.
Yes.
But listen, have you all ever been taught this? Have anybody ever revealed these things to you? Now, do you always realize this is what is required to be married? Yeah. For a long term. I'm not talking about just marrying somebody, having a union, y'all having some kids and y'all living in the house together. I'm talking about a good marriage. Do y'all know that this is what's required? If that's what you want. If that's what you want, this is what you work at. But let me read this. Nina says, as security boss, I don't think a lot of men know this information to pass it down. You may need to elaborate. You're right. But see, listen, Nina, I'm saying this to all of you. I'm a woman. And I know I get a lot of pushback on sharing my information, the information that come about with men. So there's enough men here and enough men on these men platforms to teach that if you want marriage, this is the way it goes. I'm just directing you all to where it is, or telling you that it's there. I'm giving you an overview that it's there and this is where it can be found. If this is really what you want. I'm also trying to be an example for what it's like for me and my husband. And I'm telling you, this is where you get your covering at. This is where you're protected from all these. God, yeah, I heard y'all talking about the STDs, the baby mamas, all this stuff that goes on out here in the world. I hear y'all talking about them on other platforms. And I feel so crazy because I'm like, is this stuff really going on? I hate this because they don't deserve this. But it's almost like there's nothing else. And I'm telling you all, there is something else. But it is what you make it. And I'm just the beginning. I'm just sharing a message. And I'm telling you that I'm an example that it's real. But go ahead, black man. Then we're gonna talk.
I just want you to tag me, and I'll have my hand over to get tagged in because Nina also. Oh, here we go. You ready? Go ahead. Get you another one. Okay. So Nina also said that don't start remixing the scriptures to suit your narrative. Nina, the reason that the scriptures are not remixed is because I had Moses. He got the right name tonight. Moses, I had him reread the scriptures from the Bible in order to make it more pleasurable for the people that think that we're rewriting the Bible. So that's why I had Mr. Moses repeat those scriptures, because that's very important to understand that a lot of people are navigated by happiness, but a lot of people are not trying to endure joy. So, love is long suffering. The Bible also teaches that. Moses, come on, this guy seems like he knows the word. So the Bible speaks of love being long suffering, especially when it came to Christ sacrificing himself for us. But I'll leave that alone. This ain't no Bible study. We'll move forward.
Next time.
To add on,
Listen.
sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I just
Q.
want to say something regarding that love. I don't think people know what love is or how to love or has seen what love actually is in their family. So, because y'all say that a lot, but people haven't seen that regarding their parents or anything of that nature to know if they're in love or how to love. And I think that might be an issue also to know.
You blanked out a little bit, but I think what I heard you say is we don't know love. We don't know real love.
Mm-hmm.
I got it. Dr. Steele.
Hey, how you doing?
Is he frozen? Is it? I don't know what's happening.
Is it my service?
Can you hear me?
No.
Doc, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead, Dr. Steele.
Okay, I know earlier in the super chat, you were asking about how does a man know he's ready for marriage or not? And
Yes.
I was thinking along the lines where I wrote that super chat. If a man is not in any type of relationship, okay, of course, a man is financially stable, but he's also mentally stable, and he always thinks long term. But there was one more element I wanted to add to this, and that is, if he knows he's ready to settle down, if he sees that, if he sleeps around a lot, he knows, okay, look, this is getting old right here. Okay. So it's getting crazy. So one, it's getting enough. So, he has to have all this sleeping around out of his system. Now, me personally, I never slept around, but yeah, there's, he has to ask himself, what does he have to sacrifice, in order to be married? And that's where courting, comes in, before you even get in a relationship. Okay. Now that's just one scenario. If you're not in a relationship, now suppose you're in a relationship with somebody. Now the woman is in the equation when a man is determining if he's ready for marriage or not. He knows, he's going to be faithful, but, he's thinking, well, has she proven her worth to him? And that's one factor that he knows he's ready. Of course, you have all these other factors I mentioned earlier, because now, I mean, you're with somebody, you're thinking about, your significant other and all that. And you're thinking long term, you're being financially stable, especially when you have a child on the horizon. He's thinking about all these things. And when he thinks about all these things, I think that's when a man knows he's ready.
Definitely, because that's what we were saying. When a man can think outside of himself, and not about himself, then he is ready. But you know, a lot of times we go into marriages and we're very self-seeking. It's all about us. We don't know it. We don't know it till it comes time to sacrifice, or until it comes time to share. And then it becomes what I want. And then being that it all depends on who you're with. If you are married to a woman, a wife, excuse me, she may like just fall back, but that builds a lot of resentment, because if what you're saying is not for the greater good of the family and it's self-seeking, it'll cause resentment to that woman, or in that woman, say that correctly. So you're exactly right. You're exactly right. I seen you little podcast. How are you?
How you doing, SB?
I'm doing good. Why you over there so serious? What is on your mind today?
Did you eat today?
Yeah, I had some barbecue.
See
We can't
something
hear you.
going
Hey
on.
man, hold on, man. You need to pep up. You need to pep up a little bit. Hold on, let me get him. You need to pep up a little bit. You need to pep up a little bit. Look at him.
Listen, let's ask them. Are your blood sugar levels okay? Everything good? We got to make sure you're good today. I don't want you getting excited. I want you good. So everything good with you?
Nah, but I'll be all right.
Okay. All right. You don't want to share then. Okay.
We'll
So
have you in your prayers.
Much love to you, brother.
Thank you.
how you going to add to this conversation, sir? Do you want to answer the question of how does a man know that he is ready for marriage, or do you want to take it from a different approach?
Actually, I have a bunch of questions, but I know I won't be able to get them all off, but I did write down a couple
Let's try it. Go ahead.
on what was said so far. I think so. Let me pull this up. So the first one is marriage a religious institution? That would be my first question.
Yes. Yes, it is. Marriage was based on Christ's promise to the church. It's almost like we were the bride of Christ. That's what marriage is, and that's how it's outlined. So it's in the Bible. I should say it that way. It's Bible.
Yeah, because when it's spoken of very often, right, it's either one of two ways. People are speaking of it from a religious standpoint, or they're speaking of it from a business standpoint, right? And so it's kind of like when you're raising kids, you don't know which one. I don't know which one to tell them. Let's put it like that. I got a daughter. I got a son. My daughter's 20. My son's 17. I don't actually know what to tell them. You know what I mean? I'm not a religious person myself, so I'm not really trying to guide them in any sort of religion. But if I wanted to just sit down and have a conversation with them about marriage, should my approach be business, should it be more spiritual? And then does it change dealing with the gender of the child? If I'm talking with my daughter, am I speaking more of a spiritual perspective? If I'm talking with my son, am I speaking more of a business perspective, or vice versa? You know what I mean? So that's kind of why I wanted to pose that question. But thank you for that answer. And so this is what I was going to say. How would you explain or define a healthy marriage to a person that's non-religious? Like without using religious jargon, right? If you wanted to, somebody comes to you and they're looking for help, in their relationship, how would you be able to, correspond to them? Well, these are the things that you want to do without actually using religion.
Okay, because I consider myself a follower of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Religious is a practice. It's the way you worship. There are so many different religions. You know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't necessarily push religion, the way you're going to worship on anyone. But to answer that question exactly is we oftentimes have the principles of the Father, of Christ, of God. We have those principles, but we don't give any reference to God the Father, meaning right from wrong. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have to tell you, that, right? It's innately in you. And I don't have to tell you, you were wrong. You did this right. You did this wrong. You know yourself what is right is what's wrong. So it's more of a moral thing. It's morals. Now, when you say successful, some would say it would be just being a moral person, but you still have to understand and note your role in that marriage, whatever you decide as a man that you want to do. Whatever that plan is, you would have to set that goal, those plans, and then your wife, would still have to come under your plan. Now, that's what I foresee. Whatever you foresee, seeing that you don't have that foundation, or you don't have those principles, or whatever it is, you still have to set your own foundation. If you don't have the godly principles or foundation, you still have to set your own foundation for what your marriage is going to be. So you still have to have a plan, and it will be solely up to you. But this is where it gets real hard. What's going to keep you to that plan? What is it? See, me, it's the promise that I made. It's the covenant. It's the agreement that I made to the Father, because I feel like now that I've made it, I'm blessed. I feel like I'm covered because he said so. So that's what's covering me. That's what keeps me out of trouble. Or that's what keeps me focused on my husband and I being long term. That's what makes it for me. When you don't have that, then I don't know what would actually keep you from doing whatever it is you want to do besides your moral belief, your right and wrong. And if you're dealing with a person, now you could be perfectly right, wrong, but what if your woman gray? That's going to piss you off. And you're going to be like, but wait a minute. I was operating really good in this white and black. And then here you come over here with this gray. Now what that's going to do for you? It's going to make you operate in the gray. So now what? Now our foundation that you put together, man, is now got a little crack in it because for whatever reason, my woman couldn't stay on this plan because, in marriage, you're not perfect, but it's an understanding of both parties that we're not perfect. When you're dealing with a contract and people start falling off the agreement, not holding up the end of the bargain, then guess what? I don't owe you anything no more because you messed up the contract. See, that's why I don't like to call it business, because in business agreements, they fall apart. In marriage, that's not what's keeping you, because I'm not looking for my husband to be perfect. The fact that he is not perfect and knows he's not is what makes him whole. You get what I'm saying? Cool. So that's in order. It all depends on you, and it has nothing to do per se with the way you worship. You have to decide and figure out what's going to keep you. But before you say anything, let me read this $2 super chat from Christopher Lee. He says, Q, you must first ask God for a husband and wait.
Did you ask God for your husband?
No, my husband actually prayed for me, he said. Let me tell you honest to God truth about that. Now, I was tired. I no longer wanted to go to the club. I no longer wanted to entertain young men. It's just done.
I'm done.
And then my husband just kind of found me. And that's just totally honest, y'all. That's totally honest. And I just submitted to what I knew as a wife, because my mother was that. But then, y'all, I'm not going to lie to y'all. My husband and I got together. We had to make this thing work. It wasn't like easy. It's not like, whoop, fell together. No. We were still young. I was still only 25 years old. You still have to go through the things that you go through. But when you have a purpose for doing it, you good. But going back to you, a little podcast, when you don't have a purpose and it's just those contractual agreements, those are the ones that typically, if one or the other foul on them, they won't withstand each other.
Dearly beloved. And I'm glad you went there. It seems kind of divine at this point, right? Because the follow-up question that I had for Moses, in particular, because he brought up men, correct me if I'm saying it wrong, but like finding their purpose or being on their purpose. And it seems like one of the major talking points that I hear when I'm in the YouTube sector is this whole thing about being on your purpose. I honestly have no clue what that means. And I'm not a young guy, so I just assume most of the young guys probably don't know what that means. When I listen to people say that, what I usually get from it is that they're saying being on your purpose is getting to a financial place where people can't use it against you in an argument. Like, that's basically what I get from it, is you getting to a point where you're making enough money or so much money that nobody can say anything about that, right? It's not necessarily, well, this is how you get on your purpose. This is what being on your purpose means. So my question to you, Moses, would be, when you use that, what exactly does that mean?
Okay, so I want to answer that real quick.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, Moses. Sorry.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So if we go back to the book of Genesis, we can look at the story how Adam, from God was told to name the animals, right? That was his purpose in the beginning, right? That's what he was called to do. That's a similar story to us men. We have a purpose we're called to do. So if we go back to look at that story, that's what he did, correct? Okay. So with your purpose, you want a woman to be on your side, right? To lead, right? Correct? So you have to understand, God's not going to just send you any woman. He's going to have to send you somebody that's going to be in the same purpose as you, that will serve the purpose that you're serving because she's going to submit to your mission. That's why it's called submission, and following you, what you're believing on the same thing. Not just any woman can do the same thing as other women, because you know why? Everybody have different perspectives on what they follow. It's like saying, I believe in something different, and I'm gonna lead Ali on Q, and she doesn't believe in the same thing. It won't never work. It has to make sense on what is called on both of our lives to follow the same thing we want to do, especially if you want to have a family successfully under God's, under His covenant. You know what I'm saying? So the purpose you have to be looking at is understanding. I said it before. Look at what you're doing to heal this world, because I'm gonna tell you right now, God has a purpose for you to help these people out here who are suffering in something they don't know what they're in. And I always tell people all the time, I'm not a pastor. I don't desire to be a pastor. That's not my calling. My calling is to be able to help the communities that I'm in, come from Texas, come from Minnesota to Texas, to help where I'm in Dallas. So my plan is to help the community I'm in, to make sure I serve, and also to help the women and men who are in my vicinity, to give them the peace they need to hear the truth of the message, to give them the guidance, to help them.
While everybody's coming back up, Moses, can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know what just happened.
You in Dallas?
Yeah, I'm in Dallas.
Oh, we gotta do some work together, brother. I'm in Dallas too, man.
Oh, for real? I thought you was in Louisiana.
Yeah, I'm from Louisiana, but I live in Dallas. What part of Dallas you in, brother?
Well, head to West Dallas, so kind of going into Irvin and Euless in that area between both.
I work in North Richland Hills.
Oh, really? Okay, so we got to link up, man.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Put your information in the back chat, and I'll look you up.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry about that. I don't know. I don't know if it's milling or what's going on, but we're having some struggle streaming problems or something. But I apologize for that. Did you, Moses? Did you complete that answer for him? Okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay. The last thing I was going to say was, you have to be on the same page about the mission you're called as a man, because the mission is not that hard to understand. And I was atheist. I didn't know these things. So learning it now from 18, being saved, born again, to now 29, 10 years later, you have to understand your calling, that you're called, that is your purpose, that is your gift. I mean, to help people. My gift is serving and giving my time to people and helping them without looking for money in return, because people want money for that right now, right? They got purpose to serve in that when they got money, but it doesn't serve me no money to do that. It gives me joy to see a young lady and a young man know the ways of life, to learn what God has given them to know that. And that's what He given to me to show them. That is my purpose, to help the young people.
So, little podcast, what he's actually saying, and I know what your statement was correct, that a lot of people are not going to know what their purpose is or what they're supposed to be doing. But I can say this is that it's probably hasn't been your concentration either. You probably haven't asked yourself or even thought about, why am I here? What is my purpose? And I think if you do that, then you will probably get an answer. It'll probably be revealed to you what exactly is your purpose. But before you say anything, let me read this. Harrison Family Values. Thank you so much for your $5 super chat. He says, great topic and discussion. Marriage was the first institution between humans. It is a universal benefit for all men and women if done in God's plan. But go ahead.
I was going to say to add on to what Moses said, to simplify it a little bit for people that may be listening as well. Moses did an excellent job of explaining that. I think your purpose would be defined, because I see it in the chat, what defining what purpose is. Purpose is that thing that you do so well, even when you don't want to do it, it finds you. That's what purpose is. That thing that you get up every morning that you want to do it, and you say, I ain't doing it no more. And then one day you driving down the road, and that very thing that you don't want to do, you end up doing it again. That is your purpose, and that's living on your purpose. Getting into what it is that you do well, and staying with it no matter what. Or if you don't, it's still coming. Even if you don't, it's still gonna find you.
Bars. There you go.
I appreciate it, brother.
So,
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead, because I was going to ask a little podcast for his next question.
Yeah, I also want to add something to both what Moses and Security Boss just said. You're right. You really don't know what your purpose is at first, but it's all about building yourself up in order to carry out whatever that purpose is. It first starts with your parents. They're raising you, they're building you up. And then when you get to an adult, you have to finish building yourself up in order to fulfill whatever that purpose is. You may not know it at first, but one way or another, you'll sort of get the idea of what it is.
And little podcast, you may be a little delayed, but don't let that take away. Don't let that distract you. It just hasn't been your thoughts. You know, once you start thinking about something, it will be revealed to you. I promise you, it will.
I mean, well, honestly, like I've been through. It's hard for me to respond to that, right? Because it would take up just too much time. But it's like I don't think we, and this is off topic, so I feel kind of bad going here. But I don't think sometimes that we consider what some people's lives, what some people's purpose may be, right? So today,
or sometimes we don't consider.
yeah, we don't consider what some people's purpose may be, right? So if when I think about something that is called divine order, right? This means that everything that happens for a reason. None of it's accidental. All of it is a part of a plan, whether that's God's plan or whatever. Well, that would include the 6 people who lost their lives today in the Chicagoland area, right? Mm-hmm. So what I'm saying is that sometimes we see people and we think because their eyes work and their hands work and their legs work that they're perfectly fine to navigate life. And that's just not true. Some people have emotional and psychological scars or damage. Some people have TBI or PTSD. We can't see it, right? But here's the thing, security boss, those people want to love.
Right.
They want to be loved too.
Right.
They want relationships and families and all of that. And so it's so much more difficult. I need a break.
And so,
go ahead.
Yeah. So Lil Podcast, you know what I'm saying? We talk a lot behind the scenes, man. So I understand where you are, where you been and where you're headed, brother. And sometimes, man, that hurt that you feel, man, Moses, you can probably back me on this. Sometimes that hurt you feel. If you're not feeling it, you're not going nowhere. Sometimes that pain and that hurt that you're feeling is building you to be a greater you. And without that, you wouldn't be who you're becoming. And so, man, just from me to you, one brother to another, man, I love you. And you know, if you need me, you know, you got to hit me up in the back. You know, you can hit me up on the phone anytime you want to, brother, because I'm always going to be here for you.
Same here, bro. Hit me up. Amen. Same here.
I want to say this to him, and then I'm going to, of course, I want y'all to make sure y'all reach out to him and if he comes back too. What I hear and what he's maybe not receiving is that love that we're talking about. And he does deserve what we're talking about. It's nothing, it's good. It does good, but you definitely have to position yourself to receive this. And it sounds like that's what you're doing. The only thing I can say to you is don't resist. Just submit to it.
Exactly.
And it always seems to
security boss.
I'm sorry.
Can you hear?
Oh yeah, I can hear. Go ahead.
I apologize. I didn't mean to disrupt the show.
Oh, no. This is not disruption, sir. This is what we call nothing's by chance.
Right. Exactly.
So I don't take it that way. And I hope you heard what I said, because what a lot of times what we need to submit to is the love. And you're right. You do deserve exactly, or want. I ain't gonna say deserve, because I'm not saying we're deserving, because we all foul. But it's okay for you to want that. And I want every man and every woman to want to be married, because love is what covers all this junk that we go through. Exactly. Love and marriage. I say it all the time. Marriage is a covering that protects you. It keeps you, your mental, your brain, everything, all parts of you. So I'm always directing towards there. Listen, you have a perfect opportunity to learn it and to understand it perfectly well. You're in that place where you don't have to get it wrong. You don't have that example. I'm saying you didn't come here and say, okay, I have an example of getting it wrong, or the people I saw didn't do this. You're here now. You're asking the right questions, so you have the knowledge to get it right. So that would be what you pursue. But I'm saying, don't worry about the way everybody else does it. You know, just because you're not a religious person don't mean that you can't get it right. That's how I started. Remember, I told you a lot of things we do line up with the principles of God, but not necessarily that we give him reverence.
Exactly.
So there have
Amen.
been people. Go ahead. Somebody was saying something.
No, I say amen. That's what I
Yeah,
said.
I just said, yeah, me too.
Yeah, they don't give them reverence for him. And then guess what? It may not be today, may not be your day. It may be tomorrow, but you're questioning it. So that means that it's something in you has been awakened. And when that happens, then you could just stand back and just listen and continue to ask the questions and just wait for the answers. And I hope that makes sense. Did you have any other questions though?
I mean, I got a million questions, but they not for this show. I'm not trying to
Okay.
be part of it. It's just like the reason why I get emotional is because I know that I'm not the only person like this. That's the thing that really bothers me is that way too often, if a man is different in any kind of way, or if he lacks some sort of personality trait or mindset, right? We don't just say that they different. We say they not a real man. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Right. And then when a person like me comes to YouTube and I'm getting on platforms with people, and then you see the treatment, right? You can see a person where you can do the same thing that another person do, but because they feel a certain way about that person, they show that person a certain amount of respect. But then with you, no, you don't get the same amount of respect because you don't have this particular character trait. And so therefore that means you're not a real man. And this happens in people's real lives, right? So then when you come to YouTube and it's the same thing on YouTube, right? And what you hear is people say, man, it's just YouTube. No, for a lot of people, it's not just YouTube. For a lot of people, the treatment that they receive here, they receive in their real lives. And that's why you see certain emotions like anger, insecurity, despair, pessimism, because they like, man, where do I go to get a break from this? Right? Like I always thought I was prepared to be married. It took me 20 years to accept the fact that I wasn't. I know I think I'm ready to be married now, but I know financially I'm not. Right? But I know I could love a woman properly. I could raise children properly. And I've done this. I've done the things that I feel like are devalued when it comes to men. Right? It's always about the money. You could be everything, but if you ain't got no money, you ain't this, you ain't that. Okay, I got the money, but okay, you got the money, but you still ain't this, you ain't that. It's like, okay, so how do I know when I'm ready to be married? Because everything that's being told to me that makes me ready to be married, I'm gonna lack something somewhere, so I gotta be perfect. Then security boss says, no, you don't have to be perfect, right?
I say you don't have to be perfect and you don't have to have no money.
Come
This is
on.
what I say it all the time. My husband was an entrepreneur. He knew who he was as a man. Little podcast. If you know who you are as a man, no woman, no relationship can change that. This is who you are. You know that I am a man, even though I don't have $100,000 or whatever. You know that you're a man. This is my husband I'm talking to you about, but I'm talking to you as a man also. I knew my husband was going places. I knew he was. I knew he had a plan. I knew that it was in my best interest to follow his plan. He was not a person with a lot of money. We build together. If you got a woman that believes in you and is ready to build with you, you are ready to be married. That's what I'm talking about. I don't listen when people, all this money pushing stuff, this leads to women taking from and not recognizing who men are. Because if you lead with your money, when your money falls, what do you have left if you haven't yet become that man that can lead without the money? Because you got to be able to lead when you ain't got no money.
Come on.
Got to be able to follow you when you broke. You know, I got to be able to, come on. You know, I have said this so many times. I would be homeless with my husband because I know that it's only going to be a temporary situation where we're going to be in between blessings. Because he's a man and he gonna make sure that we are going to be out of this situation real soon. He's going to do whatever he got to do. And if that's who you are, then you're ready to be married. But you got to have that wife, that woman that sees that in you, that's willing to follow you wherever you go.
Right.
If you got a woman that's sitting back, shaking her head, be like, look, you know, we got to be over here in this 500,000, 3,000 square foot house. And what you got right now ain't going to do it. She's not the woman for you. She's not. She's not. Because I'm going to tell you something. This is so cute, y'all. I'm saying it's cute because this is, you know, we do things. The right woman for a man does things and don't even know she's doing it. Years ago, I told my husband, we were paying somebody to do some work on a house. And they flexed us, y'all. They came one day, took the money. We paid them half. They did a little bit of work, but they didn't come back anymore. I told my husband, baby, you can build a house. You can do this. Now, I didn't even know what I was saying, y'all. He was like, I can do this. I said, yeah, baby, you can do it. Since that day, I have not been able to stop this man from doing whatever needs to be done in and around our house. He'll try anything. I'm talking about anything, y'all. I was like, no, baby, you ain't got to do that no more. That's how we were back then. No. I think I can do it with the right tools. I can do it. I spoke something into that man that day. And since then, I told him, they're not smarter than us. We can do this. You can do it, baby. Since then, he done been changing windows, putting siding on the side of the house, painting the house, all this stuff. Anything that needs to be done, he would do it. Now, that's a man. That's a man. And it ain't that he gets it all right. It's just that he gonna try to make it right. And if you have accomplished that and that's who you are, you're ready for a wife. I don't like it when we push this money topic because that's gold digger heaven right there, y'all. That ain't nothing about that's not, I'm gonna say this, it's not real life, it's not real marriage. Because money comes and goes. We have had money, lost money, had money, lost money, blowed money, and we're still who we are. I still feel the same about my husband. I know he still got a plan. He's the one that be thinking, I'd be like, okay, we might need to keep this little bundle over here. He'd be like, no, let's invest this bundle because what we keeping it for? We might can make it double, that kind of stuff. That's what a man do that a woman wouldn't do, but he still offers me the stability and security that I need. And that's what you have to offer that woman still by being a man. So it ain't about how much money you making. I'm sorry, because anything can happen with your money.
Can I say something? I have to go.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I have to hop on another panel, but I want to say thank you. But
Thank
the
you
little
too.
podcast, I correlate to what you said in the woman's version because it's like the old, every time my birthday comes around, I feel the same way. So like my birthdays are not even a good thing anymore. Sorry, but I have to go. Bye, y'all.
Peace, Q.
I need you here sometime. So did she just go? But anyway, I hope you can hear me.
She got emotional too, though.
I listen. I love the fact that you all are here. Thank you so much for your time, Q. You are my girl. I am going to talk to you soon. I've been meaning to do it anyway. But a little podcast, I hope you can hear what I'm saying. I'm a woman that's been married. And I'm telling you, your purpose, I don't know, but if you find a woman that can get on your plan and you love that woman, she will be with you. I can only promise you that, but it's up to you to be real about the situation. You got to be real at what you're looking at, the behaviors of that woman. Is she an asset to you? Can she be on your plan and all of that, And that's what makes a real marriage. That's what keeps you together right there. That's what keeps you together.
I know that it probably shouldn't matter, right? Because it was in the chat, but actually I have a lot of respect for the chat. Somebody broke down to me how important the chat is to streams. And so because somebody said this, I just want to make sure that this narrative don't get put out. I was not talking about Anton. So just wanted to say that Anton, me and Anton, like I rock with Anton because what he does, I don't care how much it benefits him. He don't have to do that for what he does for us. It's benefited me and my platform a lot to be in his space. Just like it's benefit, like I wouldn't even know about Black Man Unfiltered. I wouldn't know about Security Boss. I wouldn't know about Sir Hale. I wouldn't know about any of these other platforms that I've been on. River, none of them. If it wasn't for Anton opening up his platform and allowing us to be there. So, no, I'm not talking about Anton. The thing is, though, when I'm talking to these people, and after we shut down these streams, we be in the back chat talking sometimes for hours on end.
Hours.
I'm not doing that just because I'm bored. I'm doing that because I'm having conversations with people that I respect, and I want to be able to trust them, and I want to be able to apply the things that they know, the information that they have to my life to make my life better and make me a better version of myself. I'm trying to build relationships. And so, yeah, when I have to deal with something with someone off a platform that reminds me of the trauma that I've been through in my life, it's disheartening. But that's where all the questions come from. Like, just because you at a certain age don't mean you got all the answers.
No,
If
not at all.
if I had a security boss in my life, maybe I probably would be moving with way more confidence. You know what I'm saying? But I don't. You know what I'm saying? And I'm the type of person, as a May Taurus, like I don't want to say I needed to survive, but like I desire tantamount lust, having somebody that I can just share and give all this love to. And it's like the person that I had for a while, it seemed like that's not the case. And so, yeah, right now I'm in a very vulnerable state, and I'm just trying to move forward, whether it's with her or with anybody else, with more information, just with more armor, to make sure that I am doing and saying the right things. And that's why I want to come on and just ask questions and not give my opinion like I know so much, because I don't. I'm struggling.
Hey, bro, I just want to say this thing too, on top of what you're saying. We need to just keep in mind, pray for detachments to get off you from things and from
Yeah.
people who are not in the same purpose as you, man. That's one thing I always keep in mind, because whoever's in your journey with you that's not trying to push you to better you as a person, I'm gonna tell you right now, you need to let them go. And whatever things in your life that may be holding you back, keep in mind those things are there for a reason, to try to stumble you on your path, bro. So keep in mind whatever you got in your life right now, evaluate it. And also, like you said, we got brothers like me and Black Man, and other brothers who are listening and maybe want to help you, talk to you. These are the things that we are here to do as people in this life, to talk about these situations, to get you through it, because you're not alone. Because I believe the Bible says, I carry my brother's burden, and we are all called to carry that. Even if you're not a believer, if you don't believe in Jesus, that's fine. I'm going to carry your burden, because I want you to understand your life is not by yourself. All of us have gone through the same things, what we once were before in our lives too, before we came to God.
So let me read a comment here. Let me read a comment that Nina put up. Nina said, SB, let's see what she said. She said something about finances, and I don't know what y'all are hearing me say, but let me make clear to you what I'm saying. Nina says, hold on now, SB. Financials are important. Balance in all things. Okay, listen. I am not speaking of a man that is not a man that is willing to be the head of his household and to lead his family. That is somebody that's willing to provide. What I'm saying, okay, provide, provision. What I'm saying is, whether he's a man making 50,000 or 100,000, it doesn't matter. This is what I'm saying. Because a man that makes 100,000, 6 figures, may one day make 20,000. For whatever the economy, inflation, or whatever, you still have to respect and love that man as a man. Because what we are concentrating and putting so much pressure on young men for is the fact that they need to get the bag, right? They may get the bag, but they have nothing else that they're supposed to have or requirements to be married. But once they get the bag, they feel like they're ready to be married. And I'm saying that is not a balance, because money is not your balance. If money is your balance, then women will use you.
Can I give an example real quick of that?
Oh, absolutely. Sure.
So, and I've been through this before, so I'm speaking from experience, and I'm not saying this apply to everybody, right? But, I was with somebody for a while. I didn't have no money. And because they were measuring my value based upon the amount of money that I could secure, when I finally got to the money, they thought they still didn't have to respect me. It was like, okay, I got the money now, so now you can stop mistreating me. No, because now it's you just making up and conjuring stuff, because you've already prepared yourself. You've already built up this level of disrespect,
Moving the goalposts.
for a person for what they didn't have, that even when they got it, you still focused on their past. You still focused on the time when they didn't have it, versus if you would have been valuing the man, right? I was literally just telling a friend this on the phone call the other day. What it seems like, what I see with other ethnic groups is that they pick the person that they want to be with, and then it's whatever we got to do to make sure we straight. Versus I have a title and I'm just trying to plug somebody into this title to move along in life, right? So I've been in that situation twice actually. You know what I'm saying? And the second time was probably worse than the first time, because it was like, you know what I went through the first time. So now here we are again. I ain't got no money. I'm struggling. I've been dealing with something for years and I had never had it diagnosed. And I went and got it diagnosed. Okay, I'm battling with anxiety, depression, and PTSD. So now I understand why I'm snapping off on these managers and constantly losing jobs, right? Because I have an anger problem. But at the end of the day, when I finally got the money, it was like, okay, well, I don't want to act nice now because you got the money, because then you're going to think it's just about the money. And it just created this cycle. And it's just like, at some point, I get it. Men have a responsibility and a job and a title and all this other stuff that come along with it. But I promise you, I don't care what no man say, they want to be valued more than just what they can provide monetarily. They want to be loved and needed and
respected.
intimacy. Yes, we want all of those same things. The dudes that's running around jumping from one girl to the next, to the next, to the next. They want the same thing too. I don't care. Oh, I can detach from sex. You might could detach from sex, but you ain't jumping to no men. You ain't jumping from woman to man to woman to man. You jumping from woman to woman to woman, because there's a certain intimacy that you getting from those women that you desire, that you might not be ready to even acknowledge that you desire right now. And it's not being fulfilled with one. It's not enough for one because of however you was raised, whatever trauma you've been through, or whatever it is. I don't know what. But I just know for me, like I said, I just want to be able to love somebody. I want somebody to be able to love me. And I'm not throwing none of my exes under the bus. I wouldn't have been with them if they didn't have no good things about them. I wasn't perfect. I made mistakes. But when I listen to what Security Boss has, I'm not going to pretend like I don't see it. But the thing that's disheartening is that I don't see it with the younger people. I don't see it with 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds. I only see it with women and men in their 40s and 50s and 60s. And I think that's very sad.
Well, you know what? Because again, it goes back to what we were saying on Friday. They have been taught to fail. Their examples are not very good. And see, now I'm trying to give an example that is good. And you're hearing so many things that are against marriage. It gets very tricky.
Right.
It gets, you're telling yourself, oh, that can't happen. If you make your marriage work, it's what you pour into your marriage is what you get out of it. If you don't want nothing out of it, then you won't get nothing out of it. If you want something, you pour into it and you get it. Men are very goal oriented. If you want a successful marriage where you're loving to your wife, she values you, she respects you, then you will love her. And she'll submit to you. All that it reciprocates each other. But if you you want to do what you want to do, and
right,
have to be there and submit to you because you're a man.
Mm-hmm. You going out again, Security Boss?
Oh, I don't know what's going on, guys. I don't know if it's just I don't think it's storming around.
That's enough sometimes.
But I just want to say this real quick, if I can. I want to say this to Lil Podcast and black men around everybody that's watching, right? And this is what I want to say to you, brother. You are valuable. You understand? And let me tell you how you're valuable. People, the things that you are going through right now in your life, and this is for black men all around that are listening to the sound of my voice. You can listen to it, you don't, but I feel the need to say it. A lot of black men are devalued because some women are so toxic that they see the value in you and they would rather use the toxicity to hold you down than to let you blossom. And that happens a lot. I see Lil Podcast, like you just said, the goalpost got moved. You said, I wasn't making the money. It was a problem. I got complaints every day. I was making the money. Now it's something different. Right? And so what I want to say, black men, you are valuable. You are valuable. You are valuable. You're not these men out here that are trash. You're not because of your money. Stop listening to people say you have to make a certain amount of money. I know what you're hearing. I know that you're hearing women say you got to make double what they make. You got to pay all the bills. You got to do all this. Listen, there is someone for you. And when you meet that woman, she's going to come into your life. You're going to be rubbing sticks together. And she's going to come over and say, here's the fire you need to start the fire. That's just what happened to Security Boss.
So let me add to that though. I'm hearing something, and I want y'all to understand this. Women are not being taught either. What they're being taught is the same junk y'all see too, and that y'all hear that it's all about the money.
Right.
And seeing that it's all about the money. Right now, we're talking about marriage and divorce in the same sentence. To me, that's ridiculous.
Exactly.
But they're hearing the same thing that you are hearing also. So they're being programmed to say, if a man ain't got this, then he's no good. So it's the same thing. They're not seeing the value in you all being men. They're not seeing the value in you all being men. But before y'all say anything, let me do this $2 super chat. It's a little podcast. You were chosen at bottom to be abused. At bottom to be abused. I don't know what that means. Type in says that. Thank you so much for your $2 super chat. But going back to what I was saying, we have lost the value of individuals. Men have lost it for other men. Women have lost it for men. And it's women for women. We don't have a lot of value in each other in the human race actually right now. So what's being taught is the people who have the most money are the better people. And those are the people we should value. So the goal is to get as much money as you can so I can value you. It's not you as a person, as a man. Nobody ever said that money can come and go and you might have to live without some. That hasn't said that, or they haven't even, we're not going to be one race of people all making the same amount of money. That's not true. When I come to YouTube platforms, we are the richest people ever. Everybody here makes six figures. Nobody makes 40, 50, 60. Nobody does that. Everybody is six figures and above. It's a good goal, I guess, but it doesn't stop there. And it doesn't keep you married because money spends. It spends very well. I'm a good spender of money. But Zoe, how are you? I can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
I got you. No.
We can't hear you, Zoe.
You might have to go back and come back in, brother.
No. All right, Scam. Oh, come back up. So we'll bring you up in just a minute. Scam, how are you, sir? Dusto, how you doing today?
I'm all right.
Okay. Now, I saw in the chat that you didn't agree. What is it that you didn't agree about? Run it by me again.
I forgot what it was that I was disagreeing about. Probably was something to do with money.
Okay. So tell me what your thoughts are about money.
Well, the whole thing about value, unfortunately, people value what they value. Like in my 20s, I was taught that, hey, this is valuable. You're this. But if I remember a girl telling me this on actually it was on AOL a long time ago. I'm like, man, I'm top of my game. I'm over here. I got this here. I got this going. It was about 22 maybe. And it's like, I feel like I'm this dude. And she was like, okay, I tell you what. If you say you're a 9 and then you walk up to a girl and she thinks that you're a 6, to her, you're a 6. That's what they see. That's what they're going to treat you as. So it doesn't matter even if it is real, even if it is the truth, people value what they value. So if I come out here and I think I'm very good looking and they think I'm not, they're going to treat me as if I'm not. We can't change how other people think. You can't jam, I make 50,000. You can't jam that down their throat and say, I got much value. If they said no and they don't value it, they don't value it. You can't make them do so. If they say, no, I want, it could be raw dog Ronnie. That's what they want. That's what they're going to value. You can't force them to do something that they don't want to do.
I think we agree with you. I would say those would be the women that we wouldn't marry.
There are a lot of men. Well, I'll say a lot of dudes with the bag. I said this on the other panel because the YouTube talking points that got out of control. So they say, get the bag. So there's a dude walking around with a sign on his back that says, on my purpose, with a big briefcase with cash in it. Going to the women, hey, I'm on purpose and I got the bag. and there's a woman saying, hey, I got sex. They don't care nothing about each other. They have no values. They have no interests. They don't know how to communicate and connect with each other.
Right.
And they're sitting at a table saying, how are we going to work this relationship? Well, I got the bag. I want femininity. Submit. She's like, no. Well, give me this. And they'll spend 6, 9, 12 months and even have kids trying to work a relationship out of this junk.
Right.
Versus the core thing they never talk about on YouTube. Does this woman like you? Is she actually interested in you? Now, we don't get to choose how and why. It's good to have an understanding and connect. She might like you because you're tall. She might like you because you're funny. We don't get to choose why and how. All you can do is be who you are the best that you can. She likes some things, and there might be things you value that she just doesn't like about you. But does she like you? Can you work with this person? Then you back it up with the abs and the money and the stuff and the this here and that, or y'all just try to work something out. Most people aren't people who are willing and trying to work something out to begin with, in good faith, in good communication, in some kind of direction, being on one accord. And there's all this other stuff being put out there. The bag is over there. You got the femininity over here, this talking point, and the people ain't connecting.
Okay, so I mean, I think you're in a roundabout way saying the same thing that we've said. Those are people that are not ready to get married.
People spend so much time, energy, trying to change the ones who aren't supposed to be wives, trying to turn them into one.
Well, why would you say that? Okay, listen. I started out by saying, how does a man know when he's ready to be married? The man that is ready to be married is not spending his time trying to change anybody, because he's ready. And that woman, that wife, he's going to recognize her, and it's not going to be any changing. It's either she's going to be it or she's not. And then he's going to move on to the next if she's not it. The woman that is not ready to be married, her presentation is not going to be one to that man of a wife. He's going to see that this girl is just trying to be after my money or something else. She's not falling within my plan. So it's not a lot. We don't need to spend any time on that. Actually, I mean, you know what? We actually should be thanking these ladies or gentlemen who are not ready in their behaviors, because it would keep you off from wasting your time. The ones who are ready to be married, it would keep you like, you know what? I don't have to waste my time with her. She's not ready. And then we keep on. It's really not a conversation that needs to be had that I see.
Well, and Dr. Steele, I know you had your hand raised. I know you want to go, so I'll try not to be too long-winded. But I think I've lived that, right? There's a segment of us, I won't try to say that this is the majority of Black men, right? But like, we were raised with moms and grandmoms who were loud and belligerent and what most people would call disrespectful. And they were married. You see what I'm saying? And so when you're taught as a kid that, you know, it doesn't matter that your mom or your auntie or your grandma's is loud and curse like a sailor and drinking and smoking cigarettes and, you know, all of this other stuff, and it's parties all night long. Like, I'm from Cabrini Green, Chicago. Like, you know, the things that I've seen from women, people would say it was the worst kind of women. But here's the thing. From a kid, you're taught to love those women regardless.
Absolutely.
Who already know that a lot of times, I won't try to quantify it, but a lot of times men go after women that remind them of their mothers in certain ways. So if you have been taught to love and look past the behavior of a loud, disrespectful, belligerent woman, you'll come to love that. You'll come to adore it, and you'll try to make it work, and you'll spend a certain portion of your life, unfortunately most of your youth, trying to love women who are in that category. And it will be after you're broken and, you know, everyone can see it, right? And then you'll end up on platforms discussing it, and people will call you a victim Olympic, right? And they'll want to, like you're telling your story, right? Because they don't have any concern for people that live like this, right? But it's so many of us. I'm not even just talking about the guys, like Security Boss said. I try to acknowledge women's existence and their experiences, and I get pushback for that. Right.
So listen, little podcast, let me say something. You're exactly right. But I got to ask $1 million question. Is that what you want from your marriage?
I mean, of course not. You know,
Okay,
I'm
stop right
really,
there. Stop right there. You said no, right?
yeah.
Fix it. Fix it. Point out the issue. Don't just say, okay, this is what's happening. I've grown to love it. You said you don't want it. You control the situation. It's your marriage relationship. It's your relationship. Hey, doll. Hey, sweetie. We've been acting in dysfunction for many years. It's time out for that. I'm wanting to love you, and love don't look like this. We're tearing each other down for whatever reason. What is it that I can do for you to let you know that you don't have to talk like this? Do we need to stop drinking liquor? Do we need to stop smoking? Do we need to get some different people to hang out with? I separated from my family, my husband and I, for 5 years when we first got married. We separated completely. They could not be within our business for 5 years. Either she wants to do it or she don't. Because either she wants you or she wants that life. It's just time to figure it out. If it's not what you want in your marriage, you ain't got to have it. Your marriage is what you make it. And I bet you $1,000,000 she want whatever you want. You just ain't never set no standard or had an example. No standard, no example. You as a man have to set the example and the standard for what your relationship will be. And that woman will follow. But if you going to just continue to be like, I'm all right with that, when she get dead drunk and she be cussing you out, calling you punks, putting you up the head, whatever. I don't know. I'm just saying. If that's cool with you, then it'll be cool.
Thankfully, she don't do that. But
whatever
do that.
Whatever it is, it's up to you. It's time for you, because it sounds like you love the young lady. She don't know no better, so give her better. Give her better.
Yeah.
Be the example. Give her better. If you got to move to, you say you're in Chicago now. If you got to move to darn Texas to see something different, move to Texas. You're a grown man. You and your woman can go to Texas. Y'all can get whatever you got now, wherever it's convenient for you that you won't have to do so much starting over. Life, live in peace. Get rid of the chaos. I promise you'll figure out what you're supposed to be doing. I promise you will.
I believe you. I mean, that's why I said when I first got, I hate using this word because of YouTube, but when I first got emotional, it was less about me and about the fact that I know, like, I constantly meet people that have these particular struggles.
Absolutely.
Right? So when the brother Moses was saying, like, what your purpose may be, I tend to be the voice of reason to people, believe it or not. My YouTube personality might not come off like that, right? But in my real life, I tend to be the voice of reason for people. But at the same time, I can't fix them. You know what I'm saying? And that's the hard part, is that I'm knowing it was generations before me. It's a generation now, and it'll be another generation after me that is dealing with specific types of traumas that will go undiagnosed. And they're gonna have kids and have destructive families and all of this other stuff, and it's overwhelming, because it's like, man, I feel like there's nothing I can do about it. I can't even really fix my own situation, right? And I was hoping to have conversations and create a legacy through YouTube by creating content that people could come to find answers. But it seemed like once you get into the monetization stage of it, it's just all about having drama. You know what I'm saying? For people to pay attention to when you try to have real conversations, except for I would say on this channel, I haven't really seen any conversations go awry, and I haven't seen any conversations really go awry on Black Man's channel. But it's still like, I'm just thinking, like I said, I'm not gonna pretend like it ain't about my situation. It is. I'm emotional right now. I'm at a crossroads, a fork in the road, whatever you want to call it. I'm trying to figure out whether or not I should stay. And then it's like all the questions are about the men. Only time I hear the conversations about the women is when it's the men talking. And so it's like, man, I'm trying to level up. I'm trying to evolve, but I don't know what to say to get her to realize that it's okay, you know what I'm saying, to not be upset. It's okay to not argue, to not let everything turn.
Say just that.
I do, but it's coming from me. See, I have Security Boss and Black Man and Scam and Moses and Dr. Steele. I have all these people in my life, Q's and B Roses and Natasha Vince's, the people that's been hitting me up since I've been on the stream, showing me that they care about me, and I love it all, and I respect it all, and I appreciate it all, and value it all. But there's nobody in her life right now saying, girl, this boy's on the stream emotional about you. What are you doing? You see
That's,
what I'm
she
saying?
doesn't know, but that's just because she doesn't know. You have to set that standard, communicate that standard, put that expectation out there and walk it completely out. She wants more too. She just never been, nobody has called her to a higher standard. But listen,
Yeah.
before y'all say anything, Mr. Steele, I think, Dr. Steele, I think you wanted to say something, and then I'm gonna read the super chat, Steele, and then Lou. Lou, welcome, and we're gonna get to you in just a second. So Typin says this is not both sides issue. Even elite Black men are asking for less than the basics and less than fair. Many elite Black men, like physicians, are forced to save yourself, Black men.
I see what he's saying, but
Right, but you've been involved with your woman for a while, so you're gonna do the work. Then you're gonna have to decide to save yourself also, because
that's where I'm at right now.
it's messing with your mental. So you got to decide something. You can't go this way forever. So
I really, you know what it is, security boss. Like, I really just want to be able to have these type of conversations with her without. It always go back to the past. It's hard for us to get past. I ain't gonna laugh. It's hard to get past the past sometimes. You be like, this is the same person that did this trying to tell me something. You know
wow. Yeah, little podcast. You got to set the parameters. Put your foot down. Put her on 30-day probation. Whatever you got to do.
30 days.
I don't put her on 30-day probation. Listen, if you ain't ready to talk about what I'm ready to talk about, talk to me in 30 days. And in 30 days, when you call her back, you ready to talk to me? Don't lose your footing, though. If you're ready to talk to me about what I'm ready to talk about, we can talk. Oh, you still ain't ready? Okay, I'm going to give you another 30 days, but I ain't going past 90.
Right. I like that.
I mean, this is what I say. I've been saying this. Put them on that 30-day restriction. Listen, I'm ready to talk about something else. I'm not that person anymore.
Right.
I don't want you to be that person anymore. You don't want to talk about it? Okay, I'm going to give you 30 days. If you can go 30 days and not talk to this woman, go 30 days and not talk to this woman.
Security boss. Last night there was a lady. Shout out to Sir Hill Speaks. There was a lady on his channel last night that said these words. She said her husband gives her a 90-day evaluation every 90 days. Listen, this is what I require from you. This is what I wanted from you. The last 90 days I have not been receiving it. What are you going to do to change it? And if you can't change it, we're going to have a different conversation.
All right. So listen, Mr. Steele, Dr. Steele, did you want to add something? Because if not, I'm gonna go to Lou. You had your hand up.
Yeah, I wanted to say that, we are living under a system where, what should be valued is not valued. Something else is not valued. And, the Crimson Cure pointed it out to be the lost value system. We are not valuing what should be valued. We're valuing what's offered, to people. And that's just it. It's just like,
I'm sorry about this.
Value them for money instead of valuing for a person's, true worth.
Character. Yeah.
Or vice versa. It's really shameful. Lost value systems, what we're living under.
You're right. You're exactly right. I agree with that. Lou, how are you?
How are you, security boss?
Did you hear me?
I heard you. Can you hear me?
I did. I'm freezing up here and there. So y'all forgive me for this. I don't know exactly what's going on, but let's try to get through it.
Okay. I came up here for a little podcast. And it seems like every time you come up, I have to come up too and share something personal. Because I really see what you're saying. At 22 years old, I was dating a certain woman, a Black woman. I'm mixed race, okay? I'm Brazilian, Italian, and Afro-Brazilian as well. My mother's side is Black, and my dad's side is Italian, and I was born in Brazil. At 22 years old, I was dating a Nigerian woman, just to point that out, and I was cultivating her to be my wife. I gave her everything that they say that we should give them in order for them to become what we want them to become, right? She lived with me, she didn't pay any bills, and this is me at 22. You know what she did? She got bored, she cheated, she got pregnant, she had an abortion, and she blamed it on me because I wasn't the one doing the right thing. So I see where you're coming from when you say these things, But I want to tell you, brother, you're not the only one that has been through these situations. And I want to reinforce that you're not the crazy one. You're not the one that's completely wrong. You're not the one that is not doing the right thing. You're doing everything little podcast can do. You're doing everything that a man is supposed to do with the cards that he has been dealt. So I want you to take that to heart, because sometimes we look around and we'll say, is it me? Am I going insane? But it's not. It's not you only. It's also the other party. And when that happened, I had to let her go, because at that point, it became so toxic. The narcissism was so strong that I began to think that I was insane, that I was doing everything wrong, that I wasn't good enough. And that wasn't true for me, and it's not true for you.
That's exactly how it happens.
And I know how you feel. And to add on to that, my mother, when I was 7 years old, my dad left Brazil, came to the United States. When I was 10, my biological mother, who I had never met,
Wow.
went to Brazil, picked me up from my stepmom, technically stole me from my father, because my dad wasn't in Brazil, so he couldn't stop her, brought me to America, and used me against my dad my whole life. Then at 16, she decided to leave me. She went to Florida. So we all go through it. But you're not the crazy one, and you're not the only one going through it. And we're here for you. I'm here for you. You always see me in the chats everywhere we go. And the last thing I'll tell you, I think we spoke last night. The last thing I'll tell you is this. Use your passport, bro. Take advantage of what you got. Because I don't have an American passport. I have a Brazilian one. My situation here is I'm legal, but I'm not like you guys. I wasn't born here. So I can't be traveling outside of the country. Use that passport. Go to other places. Meet other people. Meet other cultures. Meet other women. Because you'll realize that once you leave the marketing scheme of America, that you're an above average kind of dude. And once you realize that, and once you take that into consideration, you'll change your mind. You know what I mean? And the last thing, when I went through all of that, we value ourselves based on how we see us and how other people see us. Unfortunately, that's psychologically. Get in the gym, number one, and number two, attain the highest position in your corporation that you can. Because when you do these things, other people will start telling you like, hey man, you're doing a really good job. When you get these promotions, when you get a raise, when you get in the gym, when you lose weight, you're going to start seeing yourself a little bit differently. So shut out the noise, right? Coming from someone that went through all these things and was borderline suicidal, turn off the noise and climb the ladder within yourself first, then the outside world. And then everything will get better. Of course, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not trying to diagnose you. I'm just saying, in my real life, from someone who didn't have money to go to the doctor and get diagnosed, this is what I did, and I'm here today. So,
I appreciate that, bro.
That's it for me.
Thank you so much, Lou. And it's good meeting you.
I mean, that's real big, though. That's real big what he said. Like, even the part about, like being borderline, self-deleting mindset, right? Because we don't think about that at all. The fact that 70%, more than 70% of all of those self-deletions are men. More than 70% of the homeless, men. You know what I'm saying? The jail population, men. Like, we want men, we want to pretend like men are just these super strong beings that nothing ever penetrates them or ever bothers them. Numbers say differently. You know what I'm saying? The numbers say men are very emotional. The numbers say that women are more violent in relationships than men, but we all know that men are violent in relationships. We know the extremes that they go through sometimes when they perpetuate that violence, because we are very emotional and a very tricky people. So I just feel like I don't think we extend enough love and grace, but I can say that
Give me a second.
comments that was on this show tonight, man, that was love, y'all. Like, I wasn't expecting that. I ain't gonna even front. I was definitely expecting way more of this dude up here crying, this dude up here whining that I get on other platforms,
But you know what? The podcast,
like that tonight, so that's hopeful.
Yeah, let me say this to you, Lip Podcast, man. Those guys that do that, those are the guys that grew up without mamas, and they had to be hard all the time, right? And nothing against those guys, because those guys have to learn how to be vulnerable as well at some point in their life. Because if they don't, you know the old saying, pressure busts pipes. That's why you see so many men going into their households and they're like, man, I know Julius. Julius a church dude. He good. He went in and deleted his wife and all his kids. How the hell did that happen? Because pressure busts pipes. Them the tough dudes that won't let the emotion out that you just shared. Right? Those dudes, bam, they either do it to themselves or do it to their family members or their co-workers. They busting pipes. And so what I'm saying to you, man, I appreciate the man that you are. I appreciate where you're going. I know that there's a plan for your life, but you have to know there's a plan for your life. And sometimes we focus more on the obstacles than we focus on the purpose. And so the obstacle. So and I said this about kids one day. I said this a few days ago. I said when our kids are growing up, they don't know anything bad about what they shouldn't do. We shouldn't tell our kids to not go. Oh, my son wanted to be in the video. Hey, wave to everybody. Now go back that way. Go back over there. Go back over there. So anyway, I said it about kids. When your kids grow up, you tell your kids, hey, listen, we eat dinner at the kitchen table. But a lot of people give the obstacle. We tell the kids, don't eat in my living room, but we don't tell them we need to eat at the table. You get what I'm saying? We concentrate on the obstacles, but we need to concentrate on the purpose. And I think tonight, you got some teaching tonight, Doc. Moses came in with the scripture. I got my preacher voice on now. Moses came in with the scripture. The security boss came out. She was a little bishop tonight, and she gave you a word from on high. And then you had Lou come in, and Lou said, "Hey, listen, man, get you a passport so you can court." And so, and then Dr. Steele, we can't get Dr. Steele, very calm and laid back, and then Dusto summed it up and zipped it up. So, man, you have some love in here tonight, man, and I want you to leave with a smile on your face, and I got what I wanted, brother. So, love to you, brother.
So let's tell the truth. Lou actually gave us testimony.
He did.
That's what was necessary. Exactly. That's what was necessary. So
exactly.
listen,
here goes just a little, because I didn't want to say this, but I'll have to say it. When I was 14, 15, 16, I used to preach. I was big into, I was waving my hand around and people were falling out. That was the type of dude I was.
Right.
I left the church, and of course, at 16, soon, a couple of years after, that's when the situation happened. And this is how I found out that the female was pregnant. I put my hand on her belly, and word to God, I said, "You're pregnant, and it's a boy." I called it out in the spirit. And I wasn't in church or anything. So to bring it back to the God thing, no matter what you think about, no matter what religion you are, something is out there. Because I wouldn't have known that if he wasn't real. Whether he's Jesus Christ, whether he's Allah, I don't know who he is, but he's somebody. And he's out there, right? She went to the doctor. This is when she was crying afterwards. "You called it out. It's a boy, blah, blah, blah." But I didn't know that before. I literally had a revelation about it, right? And then she got an abortion and she blamed it on me. So just to bring it back to the God thing, for you to leave to think about, because I don't think that what happened here today was just by chance. We're here talking to you because God or whoever wanted us to be here. That's what I believe. And this is from someone who's not even in church at all. Okay, so just to let you know.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a show about that, security boss, because that's one of the things that I struggle with is as somebody that suffers from anxiety, it's difficult to accept that you might not be in control of the things that's happening to you or happening in your life.
Guess what? When you realize you're not in control, that's when your healing starts.
Come on, security boss, you preaching tonight.
That's freedom tonight.
Y'all are preaching tonight. I'm about to shout.
Yeah, it's freedom not to care. It's called submission. When you realize there's a power higher than yourself, you just submit it. That's what we all want to be. But let me do this super chat. Black man, I know you have to go, right?
Yeah, I do. Moses, can you put your email in the back chat, and Lou, put yours in the back chat, because we're gonna help our boy, our senior little podcast, man. We're gonna reach out to him. We're gonna get him together.
All right, so let me do this super chat for Luke Hazley. Thank you so much, Luke Hazley, for your $10 super chat. And it says per KS, be on your young esquire in training, physical and mental and social focus. Sorry, y'all, I'm getting tired. So thank you so much. You get the money line.
Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline.
Yeah. So listen, guys, it has been an outstanding show. I appreciate you all for being here, Little Podcast. I appreciate you so much for sharing. Lou, thank you so much for coming up and sharing with us those things that happen in your life. We need to do this sometime. And we're not going to stop. Dusto, I appreciate you, brother. I definitely do. Dr. Steele, also. Moses, you're always welcome. You added some letters to the end of your name today. I almost didn't recognize you. Black man, you know who you are. You're my co-host. We're going to continue to do this. I appreciate you all. And comment section chat, y'all are wonderful all the time. Make sure if you haven't given us a thumbs up coming into the chat that you definitely do so. And again, we're going to be here tomorrow. Actually, we're going to be over on Black Men Unfiltered.
Yeah.
The feminists, watch out. The wives are talking.
Yeah.
9:30 Eastern. I need you to be there. All right. So listen, if anybody else, does anybody have anything else? Dusto, you want to add something? I saw that face go up.
No, I'm not gonna say it.
You're not gonna say it. All right then. All right, guys. Y'all have a good night, and we will see you all hopefully tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Please don't go. Don't think it's in me to listen to flow. It's so different with distance. We roam into zones where nothing get heard anymore. I just wish I was home when I step through front door, but instead I'm alone and completely unsure. And even though you're screaming out with the best of intentions, I don't get it. Why do you always gotta ask me to stay?
Why you always gotta go? Playing house, this ain't a home with your soul on the road. Say, why you always gotta go? Playing house, this ain't a home with your soul on the road.
See, I've been lost in my thoughts, and my thoughts they too scared to usher off. Sorry, Mom, I just thought you were my world. Now you're not. And I'm just sitting, smoking, sloping in the days, cause my days ain't been the same since I drove your away. I remember the way you wrote letters in blue ink. You and me was in love. Think about what your crew think. I know your moms probably think I'm a bastard. Your pops probably want to beat my death and take a in my casket. But I got sick of fighting, bickering, fussing over nothing, cussing. Instead of watching the death of discussions that we once had, days that we once spent in the backseat of our cars reading poets at sunset. It's funny how love can fall out the foreground, get pushed into the back of your mind. We used to twist a spliff and laugh and relax. Are you crying? And I'm trying to find the reasons, so I ask, does forever ever happen, or is it always fade to black?
I can't say, no, I always gotta go. Playing house, this ain't a home with my soul on the road. I can't stay. No, I always gotta go. Playing house, this ain't a home with my soul on the road.